wrestling to kind of hopefully take your mind off this. But let's start with the man who's always last in, first out, Jimmy T, the AI from Australia. Sir, how are you today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm computer generated, as Retro Rocket Review says in the chat. So I'm rejuvenated. I am generated, and I'm ready to get smack attacked.
Okay, well that
There you
sounds like
go.
something D needs to do for you, but I don't like to ask that question. Next in the bottom corner down here, where is it? Right, we're no this way. Yeah, I don't know pointing. Pointing is weird. It's the man with no lambs, the man from Canton, the on-site reporter from last night's show. Not really, because he was doing daddy daughter date night as a smart man should do. It is Chris Ames. Chris, how are you today, sir?
I'm great, man. I'm also not from Alberta. I am from Ontario, which is a very, very long way. It would be like if we it would I literally think that the distance is not even comparable if we said Jeff was our on-site guy from last night's SmackDown because it was in Columbus. Like
Yeah, no, it's more like
legitimately.
Salt Lake City.
Well,
Yeah.
it's like when people say, "Oh, where in Texas are you?" Oh, I'm in Dallas Fort Worth. Oh, so like you're close to like San Antonio. No,
No.
no, not at all. Not even closely at all. Like I would
Not
rather
even
get
a
on a
little
plane.
bit.
I'd rather get on a plane than drive that fucking drive because it's awful. No, we're not doing no. So that's why I make that joke because I understand that it's
Yes, it's
nowhere near
funny.
you at all. It's just
Not knowing geography is tight.
right. Yeah, yeah. Hey, knowing geography is bad.
It's
So,
very American.
It
oh,
is very American, yes. Trust me, as the Canadian and like I've been partnered with an Australian for forever here doing these podcasts, I can tell you that we get geography. Like is it not taught in your schools?
no,
Because
it
like
is, but here's the thing: it's taught in such a childish way. So, like, I took it freshman year, right, of my high school, and literally half the time it was coloring like sheets where you're coloring the different countries, and they're going, oh, okay, here it is, or your states or whatever, and it's like, hey, these are the states, this is the capitals, and it's literally something you would do in like third grade,
well,
but
and
this
like that's the thing. You guys go over the states and the capitals, and it's like anybody's like, "Hey, what's the rest of this big blue and green thing we live
I
on?"
want,
I
I
don't know.
want
It
no
doesn't
more of this
fucking
you
matter.
guys stuff because I went to public schools, the Limerick
So
Public
did
School
I.
District,
Quietly.
and in middle school, we were not just doing geography of the world, we were doing geography of the pre-world. We actually had an exercise where we had to form our own countries based on where the continents were before. I remember my team was Pangea. So we not only learned current geography, but we learned past geography, and we had to like build it. It was almost like a Fortnite game, but like in school where we had to build it, and we won, by the way, because of course my team was brilliant, and we had to build like an economy and an army and the political structures and whatever, and this was seventh grade, and I remember it because I know who the teacher was. I can't remember his name, but I remember he was a New York Giants fan, and my father was a Jets fan, so of course I sided with the teacher, and I became a New York Giants fan in seventh grade. So anyway, it's not you guys, America. It's clearly a red state thing.
but it's also
No,
the
no.
fact
This is the difference between like regular public school. Well, not regular. I
I
mean,
didn't, I didn't go to public school.
rich regular public
I
school.
didn't go to public school.
Oh, well, there you go.
I went to
Okay.
private school, and I learned the entire world and everything along those
What?
lines.
You're a
So
private school
regular
schmuck,
private
John?
school over here in the corner, right? Jewish school right here. That's what happened.
Oh, Limburg.
All,
Look up Limburg. Limburg is just a juxtaposition of Brooklyn, and that's not an accident. It was Limburg, USA, because there was only one at the time. It was 65% Italian and 25% Irish, and then the rest was a mishmash of German and Jew and two and a
but it
half
was
black people, and the half black person was half Jewish.
but
What?
like everyone knows, everyone who had positions of power was Jewish, right? That's what I hear on the internet. All of the power is held
Yeah.
by the Jewish people.
Our principal was Mr. Santarelli. I'm pretty sure that he was not. Pretty
Who
sure he
spoke
wasn't
to
a
the
super Jew.
headmaster, who was Mister
Hey,
Lehman,
listen,
or
there
whatever.
was a lot of mafia in my area, and mafia and Jews. There's a lot of time. I mean, remember season one of The Sopranos where they're playing poker, and AJ goes down to his father's poker game, and he goes, "Daddy, what's hell?" And Paulie Walnuts turns to him. He goes, "Wherever there ain't Italians or Jews."
Is this while you were in New York, Jeff?
Yes, it's when I was in New York, Jim, where I
And,
grew
and
up.
this is also remember this is also like 70 years ago. So back when education was actually decent in America.
70 centuries ago.
Yeah. So there is a difference
Back
between.
when I was in Chaldea.
So, and of course, last but not least, the man who's already said many, many things that have brought brilliance to this show, the most doctors of evil, the man who has the gardenist that's doomiest, but also has some wonderful views. Mr. Jeff Lippman, how are you today, sir?
I'm Deuces running looses.
Deuces
I think
running
I've said
looses.
already enough, but yeah. What up,
Yeah.
everyone?
What
Doing
up?
fine. So when I
Yeah.
went to school, roaming the steppe with my horde of steppe ponies, and we were the original Khazarian, turncoats.
Look, the fact that you've said all that already just proves that your education was like here compared to all of our education was like right here. So, like, I'm going to be honest. My
That's understood,
education
I
is
said.
probably on par with like what Chris's and
Are you
Jimmy's
calling
is
us
because-
dumb? Are you calling us
No,
dumb?
I'm
John?
saying because y'all are like most worlds.
We're pretty
other
good.
countries-
We're pretty
Other
good.
countries' educations are higher than Americans, if we're honest.
Yeah, look,
Most
I don't know.
likely.
At
look,
least in
maybe that's a
geography.
little myth. It's a myth,
At least
man.
in terms of geography, I think that's correct.
Well,
But
no,
to be
in
real-
America, we're not the top 10%.
No, but Americans have got the best universities still, though.
No,
Really?
no,
Not
they
anymore,
don't.
they don't.
No.
Okay, maybe not, but it depends. But prestige-wise, they
Maybe
kind
for
of do.
fucking gender studies, they have the best. They have the best universities.
No, but they've got the
Damn right.
prestige, though.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, like your your Princetons and your Harvards and shit like that. Like
Our
everybody
gender
knows-
studies are so good, we disprove that there's genders.
Right, exactly. No, you still have Cambridge, Oxford. You still have some of these other places that are more
Yeah,
prestigious.
in the UK
I think-
as well, right?
And I think Jimmy, really, it's just that we have things that, like, we don't have things in our universities that are promoting good stuff. It's our football, it's our sports, and that's how people know about some of our.
I like
universities.
that though, because I'm
know?
a sports guy myself, so I would be so into that culture if I was from the States.
You know, but I mean, I think
Really
personally,
get into college.
yeah. Look, it's,
Yeah, well, that's true too.
but if
that
we
I
take
agree with.
university out of it, we're not in the top 10 for any education system. We're below top 10 for
Yeah.
every education system in the world, Jimmy. So
Well,
I mean,
Shout outs to Finland. Shout outs
Yeah.
to Finland, where they've had
Yeah,
the number one
Finland.
education
Those-
system.
Yeah, but if a
every year
person
for,
had
like,
the money,
last
right?
20 years.
Like, just say you're the kid of a rich family, right? You think they're going to send them
so
to
either
Finland
of
or
these
Sweden?
two fuckers, yeah.
Oh, well, all right. Yeah, but they're Americans though, so you know what I mean. It doesn't really include them because I'm actually being serious. I wasn't trying to be. Wait. Were you sticking the finger up at Chris or me there, John?
yeah, Chris.
I mean,
you
it
know.
was me.
Oh, good. I was gonna say because I'm like, what the hell, man? No. But see, the thing is,
we go.
people from overseas would generally send their kids either to the UK, right, or to the States. Like when it comes to like universities, if they've got the money.
But that's
some
prestige.
universities-
That's
they'll
prestige.
send them to Harvard or Yale. They're not going to send them to Indiana State University.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I mean, right?
Well, and
or
it's
or any
about
of
the
those
pres-
Finland. It's about the
but-
prestige, the name. Like at the end of
It's
the day.
not about it's the fact that look, I can send my kid to America. My parents, before China got all stupid and COVID, they hosted Chinese students for 10 years, and they were going to
Right.
University of Texas at Tyler, but the whole bit is that they're going there to learn something, and then some of the students never left. They stayed and became citizens and everything along those lines because who wants to go
Spies.
back to fucking China? But
Spies, for sure.
it was about the idea that they had this prestige of I was able to be in the top 1% to be able to go to America.
All right, I'm going to
That
tie
was
this into the
right.
rest because they all ran around like Jimmy Wang Yang
Yes,
with cowboy hats.
yes.
They all went
No,
back
no.
to China thinking they were Texans.
Look,
No, that would be embarrassing, man.
one of the funniest things. So one year, so it flip flopped between guys and girls who would stay with my parents. And one year, my mom
What's a
had
guy, what's a
girls.
girl?
I don't know. We don't know in America anymore. We can't answer that question of what's a woman. So there's.
I
my
can.
mom's- can, yeah. So
I can too,
my-
actually.
My mom has like 3 of these exchange students in the back of her car, and they're going to church. And it's the first weekend my mom has them. And my mom is late, of course, as always. She's speeding, and she gets pulled over by a police officer on the way to church with like these 3 or 4 Chinese nationalists in the back of the car. And so
That's
my mom
suspect,
goes,
dude.
well, y'all are going to get to see the American penal system today, just out loud. And so all 4 of these Chinese girls like get quiet and
Oh, shit.
like I'm like, Mom,
They would have been stressing, bro.
well, yeah,
Whoa,
exactly.
whoa,
That's exactly
They're
what
like,
happened.
meow,
Hold
meow.
on. No one cares about your story. What I want to know is what your parents were doing surrounding you with docile, timid Chinese girls
this
in
is-
your household.
I'm not there.
Were you like the king? Were you
No,
like,
no,
I
I'm
am
not
the
there.
Sultan of Enright?
I'm
Were
not
you talking
there.
very slowly?
No, this
My name is Don.
this was like
Don.
He's
like,
having his
up until
toes
like
down.
2 years ago. So I was
You
married
love
with my own
me
kid.
long time.
Look, I wish,
Long
but
time.
no, I was married and I had a kid at the time, so I wasn't even there.
And-
Wow, this just gets worse and worse.
Look,
I
know,
suck
that's-
your
it's
dick
not a
for
great
250.
It's not even a great story in the sense of, but the fact that like,
John, why are you visiting your mother so much? She's old. She needs my help. Shut up. Why are you?
yes,
You're not my boss.
yes, exactly. Yeah, I need to relax. Okay, you know.
They've been chilling.
no. But
I'm
yes,
getting my
so-
nails done.
and then my mom goes, well, I said, Mom, you can't say that. She goes, why? I said, because Mom, they come from a country where the police will arrest you for farting in public. I mean, and they
They
will
won't
put
just
you in a
arrest
cage.
you; they'll disappear you.
Yes, I was like,
They'll suicide you.
yeah, and she goes, oh.
I wouldn't
I'm
make
like,
it very long.
but this is my mom who grew up in East Texas and who has really no concept of world culture or travel. You know,
Yeah,
and
see,
so-
that's what fascinates me about America, some parts of America, man. I think it's exaggerated, though, because a lot of the Americans I've met are not your stereotypical, what people think of Americans, if that makes any sense.
Well, no, it's that we're very, very centric and very nationalist. in
No,
our
and that's
thought. We don't-
understandable,
we
though.
don't
I
think
can
about
totally understand that. Right.
the rest of the world, and we don't bother to learn about the rest of the world, or what we do is through propaganda and everything along those lines. And we
No,
make
you're spot on,
assumptions,
bro. Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
about things, and so that's the problem about America. And my mom's that way. She'll just whatever the news is, she'll regurgitate it, and I'm like, Mom, you need to stop and look at the whole story. Like she's talking about, oh, have you seen Sound of Freedom? How they're trying to keep it. I'm like, no, Mom, they're encouraging people to buy tickets, but then nobody's claiming those tickets, so they're not showing up to the theaters. And I said, 2, it's the hottest summer that we've had so far in a long time, and so a lot of these movie places, they aren't upkeeping their air conditioning systems, so that's why they're closing. And 3, by the way, did you hear one of the guys who was the major producer for this show, who had a named producer credit in the movie, was arrested for child kidnapping?
No, he didn't.
Yeah,
What?
No, he didn't.
yeah.
Wait, someone
No,
tell me this. What's
John,
going on
that's
here?
not true. None of that is true. Okay, I'm going to tell you actually what happened.
Okay, show me what
So-
happened. Bring it.
Okay, so there were a number of people who gave money in terms of
Oh, no,
donorship. Okay,
Right.
Right,
so
right. I know
the,
exactly
the
what you're talking
average
about.
donor to the movie
That
gave, I
movie,
think,
right.
I think in order to get your name in the credits, you had to give $500. Okay, so this guy gave around $500 to the Sound of Freedom. So his name is in
Right.
there as a funder. He had nothing to do with the production, nothing to do with the movie, nothing to do with how it was written, nothing to do with any of that. He gave around $500, and because he gave around $500, his name shows up in the credits. Now, we do not know anything about why he's been charged with is kidnapping or whatever, but most likely because 90% of the cases when a person is charged with kidnapping, it is a domestic dispute between a father and a mother who disagree about what time child should be brought back, etc., etc., etc. So
Right.
wait before you believe nonsense that gets spouted to you on Twitter. Read, figure out what the actual story is, because that guy is not a producer. He had fuck all to do with the movie. He gave around $500 to them, so he got his name in the credits.
Right, and then I guess I was going to say she was saying. I didn't clarify. She was saying, well, he was arrested and he's a major funder and they're trying to keep him. I'm like, no, he was arrested for kidnapping, which is a parental dispute, you know. And I said, at best, from what I've read, the most that you could give is $500, meaning he was a person. And I said, I don't know if he got named. I didn't see the movie. I haven't seen the credits. I don't know if that's part of it. But she's jumping on all these things like, oh, they arrested this guy because they're trying to discredit the movie. And I guess that's where I was going with it. I just jumped the gun because she was just getting all these things
Oh,
wrong.
well, I heard what you
And-
said too, John, at first, and then I found out that was bullshit.
Yeah, no, it
And
was all
so, yeah.
bullshit. It's just they're, it's one of these things that things are being said, and she's one of those people that will just latch on everything, and she gets so many of these things wrong. And I
Well,
apologize for my
and listen,
misspeak.
I don't listen. I don't like shame on the fucking media, shame on the mainstream media right now.
Yeah.
I'm not one of these fucking people who thinks that everything going on in the mainstream media is absolute fabrication for the new world order or whatever. But shame on the fucking media for trying so hard to slander a movie where the basic fucking premise is, hey, there are children being raped, and let's try not to let that happen. Let's
Right.
do something to stop that. That's the
Yeah.
premise of that fucking movie. And the fact that the mainstream media is trying so hard to discredit and slander everything about that movie just really fucking irks me.
It does too. And I mean, who cares that Jim Caviezel
Oh,
using QAnon?
this guy was part of the credits. Oh yeah, you know what was part of the fucking credits for Mulan from Disney was the fucking province where they're literally arresting and sterilizing people. Go
Yeah.
fuck yourselves, mainstream media.
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous. It's embarrassing that happens. But you know the thing is, John, and I will say this for your mom. I don't know your mom, but I know my mom, and I know lots of older people, and this is something that is really starting to happen. You have a choice now. You have a choice, and this happened. I saw this happen with the trucker protest in Canada. Okay, you have a choice to either believe that some of the most ridiculous things that you have ever heard in your life are true, which is what the media is saying, right? The media, for instance, said that the trucker protest was funded by right-wing conspiracy theorists from America or Russians, and it fucking wasn't. They have the receipts. Almost all of that fucking money came from regular, everyday Canadians like me, okay? That's where that money came from. It had fuck all to do with American right-wing extremism, okay?
Well,
But
aren't you American right-wing extremist? You're an
But that's
extremist.
that's what was fucking reported in the news. So you have
Right.
the option. Either you can believe that these things that we have believed our whole lives, CNN, CBC, MSNBC,
Fox News.
either those things are bullshit now and we can't trust them, or right-wing extremists funded the fucking truckers protest. Okay? You have a choice to make now. And most people will say, well, the news is saying it must be so, rather than saying, I think maybe some of these things have been captured by ideologues and we shouldn't listen to them anymore. But that's hard for people. It
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah, and I mean, my mom grew up in the era of where you could trust the news, and so getting her
I think
to
all our families do.
be like, and of course my degree's in broadcasting, so I never initially see something and go, okay, that's it, because it's like, well, I need to have two sources. What are some other things that I need to know before I even begin to make an opinion on this? But she grew up with Walter Cronkite. She grew up with people who would read the news, and that's what they were doing. They were reading the news, and then you made your own opinions off of it. And so she's not used to this idea of researching and looking into what's been told. And so it's very interesting in that aspect of they're saying all these, oh, Jim Caviezel's QAnon. Like, okay, so the premise of the movie is about people kids who are getting trafficked. Who gives a fuck about everything else behind that?
I know,
The story and the message is important. Why discredit it with saying, oh, the guy who founded the organization is no longer with the organization anymore because they cut ties with him because of his political views?
I mean, Hollywood are really
Who
trying
gives
to
a shit?
right.
Let
gives
me
a
try and be
shit?
a little bit of voice of reason and give a little balance to this.
Okay.
The reason people gave a shit is because they glamorized the movie, they fictionalized it, which is, and on the other side, that is not unusual. That is done all the time, based on a true story. Very rarely resembles what actually happened. But
No,
because-
Braveheart is a play-by-play for what happened with William Wallace.
Right, but even like the some of the stuff on the Branch Davidians that came out recently, it was very pro Branch Davidian, and then you watch the Netflix one of all things, and it was more down the middle, which is true. I got no freaking idea, but I know that, but I'm pretty sure that the one on Showtime or Stars was set out to make the government look worse for storytelling purpose, and that happens all the time. It's like the burning bed. The story was different. I mean, everything in real life is different and less exciting, but because it was brought from the unpopular ideology, the media, which really doesn't need to spend time on movies at all, except for telling you what the box office receipts are, if even that, and talk about why the movie industry is dying. They spend time discrediting the movie, which of course causes an outsized overreaction on the other side. Now, of course, on the other side, yeah, they did buy blocks of tickets, and many were not claimed. They also had people. They in the middle of the movie, there's like a break, and Jim Caviezel comes out. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the movie. Why don't you pay this forward? And they put a QR code on the thing, and you're supposed to scan your phone to it, and you're supposed to buy a ticket for someone else. And lots of people did that, but the person they bought the ticket for just didn't go see the movie. Whatever. It's like no shows. It's like when we talk about AEW shows that they sold 6,000 tickets, but you see 3,000 bodies in there. They still sold them, So whatever. If this was a movie about domestic abuse and the woman heroically fought back, like every Jennifer Lopez movie, nobody would be criticizing that.
Right.
It's just dramatized. So there.
I literally pictured Jennifer Lopez when you said the movie, like when you said the movie premise. Exactly. I was like, that's a Jennifer Lopez. Yeah, so good. Yeah.
Yeah, as you should. I mean, there's a reason. It's like she's literally done like 14 movies exactly like that.
Right.
Anyway, so that's the whole thing about and Caviezel is Caviezel, but listen, nobody was giving him a hard time, and nobody was turning off that CBS show with the guy from Lost, where they had some computer where they could tell crimes in the beginning before they happened, and he would stop them before they happened. I mean,
Person of interest.
Okay, that show ran for like 4 years, and it was a big hit. I mean, listen, we always have theme shows. Michael Landon's Touched by an Angel, or whatever it was called. If that was made now, it would be getting all sorts of backlash. But guess what? There's a lot of people that are devoutly religious, devoutly Christian, and they like the thought that there might be angels out there and that it's a fun little story for them, and that's a kind of drama that they like. And instead of Superman, they prefer their superhero to be an angel. Big deal.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. I mean, it's just very interesting in the fact that we now have news talking about entertainment in these aspects of things when it's like they shouldn't be in the same conversation. News is news, entertainment's entertainment. Like you said, Jeff, it should be just telling the box office of, hey, this is what this made this weekend. But yet we've seen now our entertainment become more political in that aspect, and I'm not saying
politicized. I don't know if it's been more political. Like, entertainment has always been political, right? But politicized at this point is what's happened. Like you can't watch anything without there being 100 videos about how it's this way or it's that way or it's this, that, the other thing. And sometimes that's right, but sometimes it's just people shouting into the wind. I took my kids to see the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie last night, and I've seen videos about how they race swapped April O'Neil because they're leftist communists and blah blah fucking blah. It's like, I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, it's like that. I mean, it's when you're getting nitpicky on shit like that, then I don't, that's not a big deal. But I mean, I think at the same time too, it becomes one of those things where when we look at the state of entertainment in general right now, right, we have the SAG-AFTRA strike of what they're arguing for, and just how it seems like the industry itself is struggling. And then you have things like Warner Brothers saying they're interested in live entertainment. I think it was announced this week. They're talking about having like streaming sports or something along those lines. I didn't read the whole article. I didn't get a chance to because I was just busy all this week. But I mean, I find that interesting that they would mention that, but there's no mention of AEW in that article at all that I saw. Well, I mean, but it's live programming that they could put on streaming.
Warner Brothers needs to figure out a way how to not lose $100 million on Blue Beetle and just focus on that right now.
Yeah, I can't believe how much they're pushing Blue Beetle. I mean, the previews don't even make it look good. They make it look like it's the absolute laziest generic superhero movie.
And they already pissed off a number of fans with the original trailer where they had the line about, "Oh, Batman's a fascist." As soon as you say that shit, you've already turned off a number of people. First of all, Batman fans, which I mean, I don't know if you know this, but if you're trying to sell a comic book movie, pissing off Batman fans is a bad fucking call.
Yeah,
right. And having Batman in the movie is usually a good call because Batman is the most successful movie franchise that there has been for DC. You know, Superman being maybe a close second or maybe a fairly distant second. The other thing about the Blue Beetle is even in the end, like if you're a superhero nerd and the first thing you find is like he found this scarab. Well, hold on. There's like 100 other superheroes that found a scarab that cause powers. This is it's
also
like,
he's not the original Blue Beetle. There's
Ted
he's
Ford.
like the third version of the Blue Beetle. So and
So it's
I love
not-
Jaime Reyes. I actually like in my big truck that I drive. I have like a statue, like a little tiny, like a little action figure of Jaime Reyes' Blue Beetle glued to my dash. Like I like Blue Beetle, but even I'm like, this doesn't look good.
Yeah,
I have no
but
idea
you're
who it is.
referencing
it was
Ted
the
Ford
tech.
in the movie too. You know, but no, and it's an alien tech. It's not cord tech either. It's like
no, the Tick, like the cartoon, the Tick with
yeah,
Patrick Washburn. Like I didn't know the Blue Beetle was something
Great
different.
show.
Than the Tick.
yeah.
That's a great show, by the way.
Did you see the
Fucking Tick
Amazon?
is awesome.
Did you see the Amazon version?
I never
I
did.
did.
I never got into it.
It was-
but I
it was-
love the fucking cartoon.
Cartoon was top notch.
Yeah, the cartoon was goat. But like Peter Serafinowicz is the Tick, and he does a really good job with it. It's very good.
He can't
So-
do better than Putty. I'm sorry.
Look, Putty was great though. Yeah, I will say that. So, but you know, I think it's interesting in the sense of, you know, again, Warner Brothers has. It feels like,
I'm not breaking up
With-
with you. You're breaking up with me.
yeah, it feels like AEW is there for the taking to help them out, especially with this situation. But it feels like it's one of those things they don't.
LOL, help them out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, if the strike continues and releasing, you know,
Get off my laptop.
but obviously they have a backlog of just of reruns that they can show, and they'd just be rather like, yeah, no, it's fine, you know.
They're talking about live sports. They're talking about NHL games. They're talking about things that would be on NBC as the C game that they'll put on Max. They're talking about simulcasts. They're talking about trying to get more NFL games. They ain't worried about it. They ain't worried about a 350,000 audience from AEW. They're talking about a 4.5 million audience to watch a NBA playoff game. Stop it. Stop it with the AEW and HBO Max. If it's ever added, it's going to be like added the old DC cartoons just to have like a library of content. But that's not the kind of live sports that he's talking about. In any event, the real story of the week was streaming, which I don't know why we're entertainment reporters, is that on the heels of Netflix both raising its rates and cracking down on user ID sharing, Disney has just raised its rates for like the third time in a year by another $3 a month, while saying it's losing money. So if Disney, Max, can't make any money. Netflix is the only one that makes money, and it did for quite a long time. And the only reason it's making money now is because they did cut down on that, and now Costco's doing the same thing, and all the clubs are doing the same thing. I mean, basically, I'm calling between the movie industry, the TV industry, and the streaming industry, which are all owned by the same conglomerates, basically. That they are committing suicide by shooting your conjoined triplet in the head. I mean, it's like idiotic. They're actually killing each other. They need to cut bait on one of these things, and streaming is probably the one. And the prices are going so high with streaming that it's basically the same cost as cable. Which, by the way, if you call a technician to repair your cable, they probably will come out. Who the hell do you call to fix if your service ain't working on Disney or Max or Netflix or Shudder or Tubi or Freebie or Hulu or any of those? No one. There's nobody to call.
True. You know, I mean, you're not wrong. I think
Of course, I'm not wrong.
Well, yeah, every now and then. But I think it's that idea. That it's, you know, what they've tapped into is the power of choice, of freedom. You know, like this Jimmy, what the fuck are you doing?
Fuck that. Nobody wants choice. Like
Yo.
everyone with these Medicare parts A, B, C. Just give us fucking Medicare. Just cover everything and leave us alone. Stop giving me choices. I don't want fucking choices. I paid into this my entire life. That should be the end of the equation.
Yeah, maybe so. But I guess, the real question is, do we continue this conversation or do we go ahead and talk smack now and go forward? Because, I mean, it's not an hour yet. It's only 30 minutes.
Hey, have any of you guys heard the that new song that just went viral? Rich Men North of Richmond.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that guy. I saw him because of the TikTok guy Justin Danger Nutley or whatever his thing is, and I don't know it. Like I just saw it and then I watched it. And I was like, holy cow, such a good song.
That fucking song is great, and I hate country music for the most part. That was really like the fact that he's just some guy who is just like a year ago he was a drunk basically, and he was just like, you know what, I think maybe I'm gonna get into doing music more, and I'm gonna pray to God, and I'm gonna say, God, I'm gonna try this for a little bit, and if it's for me, then let me be successful. And all of a sudden he's got like 300 million views on YouTube or whatever. It's like, I don't know if there's a God, but maybe this is the universe's way of telling you, yeah, bro, go for it.
Yeah, look.
All righty. Well,
Yeah,
no, I
no.
haven't, but I'm going to look for it now. But, boys, maybe we should write a song.
Look.
Hey, yeah.
Hey,
Look.
I'm the DJ, right? So I mean,
Yeah, there you go. Auto-tune
Yeah.
all of our shit, and
This
then
is
there
the
we go.
lyricist.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
No,
you.
but I heard that song, and man, and it's a reminiscent of a very old school Southern country song. Like
Yep.
it was.
Like Country Boy Can Survive.
No, I'm talking like maybe like 50s country.
Yeah.
oof.
Like but just very soulful.
It's like a
Good.
mixture. It's like a mixture of like 50s country
Really?
with outlaw country.
Yes.
is what
I
it
love
is.
outlaw country. Actually, I don't mind
Yeah.
that type of shit.
Yeah.
Hank Williams Sr.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Hank.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of Hank, to be honest with you. When I first heard it, I went, "Wow!"
Yeah.
And I've listened to that song a couple of times, man. And like, it is like Jimmy, like you'll understand like right away what I'm talking about. My love for hip hop has very little to do with the production, and I know, like as a DJ,
Right.
you probably
Absolutely.
fucking hate hearing that.
No,
But my love for hip hop is basically in the fact that you can get. I personally believe this about rap music. You can get way deeper into the lyrics in a rap song
Fuck
because
yeah,
there's
you
so
can,
much of
man.
it, right? You can
Absolutely.
have so many lyrics in a rap song,
For sure.
whereas in country you have to have like the hooks got to take 30 seconds and everything like that, right? But with rap music, you can go like real hard on the lyricism, right? So that's why like I love rap music the way that I do. This song is lyrically so fucking good, dude. And I've seen listen, like all the usual right-wing crazy people love this guy, right? Because it's country music, right? So of course they do.
Right.
And of course that means all of the left-wing people fucking hate this guy. But I've seen a video from this guy where he's talking about politics, and his real honest opinion is like, all of these fucking people are crooked assholes, right?
Yeah.
Which is exactly what your opinion should be about politics, right? Is they're all crooked fucking assholes. So, yeah, I just honestly,
What's the
man,
song
I
called,
heard
by the way? I'm
Rich
curious because I want
Men-
to check it out. Yep.
Rich Men North of Richmond.
So north of Richmond, like as in M-O-N-D
Yeah.
at the end?
North of
All right.
Richmond, Virginia.
Not
Here.
rich men, for example.
Here.
Right,
Right.
Richmond, north of Richmond. Can we
Right,
talk about
right.
something else? How lame is Threads?
It's
Yeah,
super
it's
fucking
exactly
lame.
like Twitter, man.
No,
I
it's
tried to-
not. It's like Twitter without any energy.
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
it's like if Twitter got hit in the head really hard. it's
Yeah,
it's
like, I
not
just
good.
went on it for
Yeah.
like 2 seconds, and I thought this just looks the same. But you're right, there's no energy.
It's not. But like, if you're looking for it, Richmond, north of Richmond, this is what it looks like. It's the guy. It's just him singing with his guitar.
I see it right now.
Well,
He
It's
does
It's a
look
redhead
little
dude,
retarded.
right?
Yeah.
Like he's got a red head, like a red beard and shit.
Big red beard, and
Right,
and
right.
So he
just-
doesn't have a soul, but the song does.
I'm listening to
Yeah,
it right now,
right.
as a matter of fact.
Look, it's
I have to.
really good. And
Hey,
if you,
he's got my mic. I'll give him that.
Oh, you're like your actual microphone? Like
Yeah, he's actually using my mic, the same
Oh,
mic. Funny.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. I look, but I don't even remember where we were at that point. Oh, Threads.
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 Sorry if you
like,
could hear that, by the
I
way.
don't even. I got on Threads, and then it's like, okay, great. Like, so what do I do now? Okay, cool. It's like Twitter, but not as fun. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
The whole thing about people saying, "Oh, I hate Twitter; it's toxic" or whatever. Like, but that's the whole point. I go to Twitter to see other opinions that I don't normally would have, regardless of whether they're mine or not. I don't have to comment on it. I don't have to say these whatever.
Go to
Oh,
Twitter
man, it's
to
toxic.
be toxic.
Yeah,
It's real toxic, man.
That's the whole point, though. But like, I mean, do I have to engage? No, I can just look. I guess I'm an adult apparently, and I can just read shit and go,
Right.
"Oh, well, that's a weird opinion. I don't like that opinion, but I don't really have to say anything at all." I mean,
It's a cesspool on Twitter, bro.
it's whatever. But like, I mean, let's just take this for
Yeah, but it's
example.
a cesspool in the distance with a fence around it and plenty of land. I mean, you don't have to climb the fence and jump into the cesspool. I mean,
Right.
Right.
you can
Yeah.
just scroll.
But let's take this example. With the HMG group, which I referenced earlier, where we had a commenter talking about how our group was like Twitter, right? And I'm like, look, Chris
It's too
responded.
negative. Why is
Yeah.
it so negative?
Chris responded. I responded. But I think the comments were all very like adultish and positive, and they're like,
Jeff
look,
responded too.
yeah, Jeff responded like,
Yeah,
look,
just
we're
with the
glad-
gift
I didn't
said
see
thank
this. It didn't
Yeah.
come up for me, so
hey, we're glad you're here. We appreciate your opinion, but like the whole point is like we're not going to be here and blow sunshine up your ass about wrestling. We're going
Right,
to take our honest
exactly.
opinion views and we're going to
Absolutely.
share it. Whether that be good, if it's positive, we will say it. If it's not, we're going to
Okay.
say that too. The part is right now it's been mostly negative.
I have a little game for us, and I'm going to count down. I'm going to count down 3, 2, 1, and at where you would hear 0, I want you all to say after you read that what you thought that person was, and let's see if our answers are all the same. Okay.
wait. About what you guys were interacting with today,
Yeah.
you're talking about? Okay, this has nothing to do with me, so yeah.
The guys
I never saw
post.
it.
Okay.
Right.
3, 2, 1.
Troll.
I thought he was
Retard and
trolling.
trolls.
I thought
I
he was trolling.
straight up trolling, and why I thought he was trolling is because he put that comment up first of all, right?
Can someone
then-
give me the context of this? I kind of want to
So
know.
you know how like we had to restart the HMG Facebook page, right?
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
So we've got a bunch of new people in there who haven't been part of it before. Anyway, this guy joined, I guess, and he put some fucking post about how like, oh, well, everything is so negative in this page and blah 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 fucking.
We called
blah,
it
right?
armchair negativity, which
Yeah, here,
applies
here.
to me,
Ah,
but it doesn't
who
apply
let this
to like
goose in? It
75
wasn't me.
Vince Russo is
Yeah,
there.
like get the
Right,
fuck
right.
out, man. Anyway,
Yeah,
this guy replied with or said some shit like that, right? So then a bunch of people basically replied and were like, well, mine's gonna show up there right away that says, "Is this your first time on the internet? Like,
Right,
what the
yeah.
fuck is wrong with you?" Right?
Yeah.
But anyway, like his response to all of those things was very much like looking for another reaction. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right,
Like,
for sure.
I think I want to. So yeah, I put first time on the internet, and his response was, "Bro, we're not on 4chan anymore." LMAO. Like, I
He's
don't
a
know
troll,
what the fuck
100%.
4chan is, to be honest. with you.
4chan is a platform. It's a forum, basically.
It was.
Right.
All sorts of
But
shit.
but Chris's
Well, yeah.
response could have been he could have ripped the guy a new asshole, but he didn't. He was just like,
Right,
look,
right.
If this is not what you're looking for,
And he did
hey,
the right
Simon
thing.
Miller on you. Yeah,
Dude,
like,
Right,
I said,
yeah.
look, like if you want, hey, everything in wrestling is wonderful, and I love everything, and wrestling is the greatest thing in the world, and if you don't love wrestling, then I can't be friends with you, and we love everything, then go fucking watch Simon Miller.
Yeah.
He's
Right,
great
yeah.
if that's what you're
You
looking
like
for.
him? Look, Chew, you talk him up
I
all the time.
watch Simon Miller.
I know,
Like,
I know.
you know what I mean? He's great.
Right.
But that's not what I want to fucking inundate myself with.
Right.
But anyway, this guy's responses to basically everybody was trying to get more like reactionary. You know what I mean? Like I want to say Jeremy Williamson had a comment to him that was
Yeah.
very, very fucking like very like low key, like not
he
negative.
said, I have it right here. If you're
Right.
looking
If
for
you're looking
positivity,
for positivity on wrestling, specifically AEW, this may not be for you. And this guy's fucking
Spot
response
on.
was, "My man said wrestling can't have positivity here." No, he didn't. That's
No,
not what
he
he fucking
didn't.
said. You.
Why does that
troll.
sound like
Yeah.
what's that guy Jeff that me and you follow and he follows us? The AEW fucking.
Slick
Mark Todd?
99 or
Do
Sage.
you think maybe? No, Slick. It's Slick. Do you think it could be him?
No, I don't think so.
He
But
sounds
this-
like him.
But this guy, I mean, there's literally a group called WrestleJoy. That's where he belongs. He should be in WrestleJoy or any AEW fan group because as soon as I saw him, I'm like AEW Mark.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I can't stand those fucking shields, man. They're the most annoying thing in all of wrestling right now.
I can't stand shills on either fucking side of the.
I know, but the
equation.
WB shields are nowhere near on this. They're imaginary compared to the AEW ones.
If you're one of those people who says enjoy all wrestling, you actually enjoy all wrestling, good for you. I can't do that. I'm sorry. I watch everything with a critical eye, and I dumb it down a lot for wrestling. I mean, if anyone,
Yeah, but
all three of you are on my Facebook, so you know what my standards are for TV and movie. It's like higher than most people. Like I am really unforgiving about things that like a lot of people like, and I give up on them pretty early.
High standards are tight.
tight.
For wrestling, not so much. I know what wrestling is, but it isn't all. It isn't all of that. And who goes to the internet and says, "Wasn't that great?" No, that's not what the internet is for. The internet is for banter. And
It's
if you
to
want-
complain about movies and watch
Right.
cat videos and porn. That's what
Cat
the
videos
internet
and
is
porn,
for.
exactly. But to be honest,
cat
it's not
videos
like we
of porn.
criticize. But to be fair,
cats watching
well,
porn,
to an
cat
extent.
porn.
Yeah, I mean,
No, but seriously though, right?
Little kittens
It's not like
come
we
from Jimmy.
purposely do that. It's not like it's our gimmick to bash AEW and whatnot, right?
Well, it's not a gimmick.
That's what I'm saying. But people think that. People think we just do that because that's our shtick. But
No,
it's
listen.
not.
All of us have been on the wreckage. Like all of us have been
Right,
on wreckage,
yeah.
right?
We love the wreckage. I mean,
for
the
most
collision.
part-
Sorry.
For the most part,
Yeah.
like everybody's opinions have been like pretty skewed toward the positive on that
If
fucking
it's
show.
fucking good, we're gonna
If
say it's good, man.
I'm gonna say, hey, look at how good this was. Wasn't this
Exactly.
fantastic? And if it was
Right.
really fucking bad, I'm gonna go, fuck
It
this stuff.
sucked.
These
Well,
guys
what,
don't know
what was
they're
that?
fucking
What was
doing.
that person's name? The poster, whatever his name is, sir. If you are watching right now, we are about to talk about SmackDown. And if you are in fact an AEW marktard and you want to hear negativity about
Change the
SmackDown,
channel.
You're gonna hear it.
just no, don't change that. Keep listening because I'm sure you're going to hear some. But if it is that you just want to hear positivity on wrestling, I don't know. Give it a chance and see what you hear.
Well-
There'll be some back and forth on it. But if
Yeah.
you just want to hear pure positivity, that's what Chris Van Fleet's for, and he does it well.
Exactly. And look, you put all our years of us watching professional wrestling, all these years, we're probably, at about 100 years or more than 100 years collectively of the amount of wrestling we have all watched. Can you believe that shit? So of course we're going to be pretty critical or positive for that matter. If it sucks, it sucks. If it's good, it's good. Either way, we're going to tell you how we feel.
We're
not just the
we're
years.
going back to Andrew Jackson times. We're going back to Sam Houston is building up an army to face Santa Anna.
when
Honestly-
Abraham
honestly-
Lincoln was a wrestler, sir. Back when
Honestly,
Abraham Lincoln was a wrestler.
Jeff this week had something about how like there were things that he feared when he was a kid, and I was like, yes, I'm sure the Huns were terrifying. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so there's years there, but then there's more to it than that too. It's not
shit.
just that we're four guys who have listened to wrestling. We're four guys who have listened to wrestling. We all have our own things about us that
Right.
make us individually brilliant towards this, right? Like Jeff clearly, he is a lawyer, right? Like, so I mean, he has one of those minds that's going to see the details to things, right? He's very organized, very detailed mind, right? Jimmy is like, he's a genius when it comes to the audio and stuff. So, I mean, it takes a certain amount of obsession to be a good DJ, right? So he's got that like obsessive sort of personality. We mentioned a song and he had to go listen to it, right? He had to go listen to it because we're talking
I
about
was
it.
curious, man. It sounded
Right.
good.
John being the sinister minister and everything, right? Like he has like his own way of looking at things that's and the way of talking about things too, right? You could be listening to four guys right now who are all shitty at podcasting. And guys, if you're listening to this podcast, you've heard those people before. You've heard people podcast who
There's
in the middle of a fucking show,
suck,
and you're
bro,
like, God damn it, why am I fucking listening to that? You're not getting that. You're getting a lot of very specific, and very intelligent wrestling content when you listen to us. And I mean, you know, for me, for instance, right? I love storytelling, right? I love stories like more than most people in the world. I obsess about stories and storytelling, basics, things like that. So when I'm watching wrestling, I'm breaking it down as a story. And if the story makes sense, you're going to hear how much I love it, right? And if the story is shit, you're going to hear how much I fucking hate it, which is exactly why if you've
Which
ever
is what
heard me
irks you the
review-
most, right?
if you've ever heard me review a fucking Young Bucks match, you will understand how much I hate when people don't have anything to do with story. So
And I like that dynamic. We all bring a different thing to the table. So, you know, even though it seems like we all agree on a lot of shit, and we do, but it is what it is. Like, I mean, AEW is just absolute caca right now, especially on Wednesdays and Fridays. These past Friday shows just ugh. But yeah, but Collision, it's a great fucking show. I mean, we're gonna keep praising it until it sucks, and we'll tell you that.
But I mean, I think it's interesting in that aspect too. Like, you know, we all bring these different things. Jimmy's an audio production guy. I'm a TV movie production guy. Chris is a storytelling guy.
Oh,
You know, Jeff.
I thought you were
is a
here
deep
because you
dive
were
guy.
Lance Archer's water boy.
Well, I am that too.
His Sherpa.
Look, I'm his little bitch. But
Ooh.
And you
no,
run
that-
an Airbnb for the Savage Gentleman and Lady Frost.
that's okay. Jimmy's basically the water boy for the BCC too.
Yeah. Well, you know.
What? Not the
Or the-
BCC.
or
Come on now.
The BBC, right? I thought it was.
Yeah, that's more my that's more my kind. I don't
No,
discriminate, boys.
No. Jimmy was on this Friday. He was.
Huh?
It seems like he's going to challenge Orange Cassidy for the international.
Oh,
Oh.
that's right.
Get
yeah.
fucked. I hate
Yeah.
it, man. Wait till we talk about that. Or if you want to even
We're
talk
not
about
talking about that. That's not tonight. That's not right now. All right. One
Well,
last thing I want to
it's
talk
tonight,
about
but-
real quick.
yeah.
It was a news article that came out yesterday, being that it was this week we had a shakeup of the commentary where Wade Barrett and Michael Cole have been moved
Right.
to Raw, and Corey Graves, with Kevin Patrick, and then Michael Cole are on SmackDown. And the article was that Endeavor and some of the other partners wanted Michael Cole because they see him as the face of WWE as far as commentary goes. So, gentlemen, I wanted your take on that thought. And is it like one of the things I appreciate about the way the commentary was going is it gave Michael Cole uniqueness. We didn't have to hear him all the time. And now we're back to hearing him all the time. So what are your thoughts on this move and hearing that the other partners of this merger wanted that to happen? So let's start with Chris. What did you think about this?
I famously can't stand Michael Cole, and I know there's a big push recently towards oh, we should respect Michael Cole for all the years. And no, I don't like Michael Cole. I don't think he's a good announcer because I don't understand what his fucking perspective is. I do not understand what Michael Cole likes or doesn't like about professional wrestling. So I have a really hard time ever really connecting with anything that he says. He's very bland. All I can hear is Vince McMahon-isms constantly from Michael Cole. I don't remember ever really listening to Michael Cole on commentary and thinking, well, that was a good insight, because I don't know that he actually has his own insights. And that's being respectful. The guy has been doing this for a very, very long time, and I respect the years he's put in. But I operate heavy machinery for a living, and I've been doing it for about full time for about 8 years, about 10 years, something like that. And I am significantly better than some guys who have been operating for 25 years. Because sometimes the years doesn't make you good. It just makes you fucking crotchety. So I guess fine. I don't like most of their announcers. Basically, if you ask me to name the good announcers on WWE right now, I might say Wade Barrett and Wade Barrett.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. Jeff, what are your thoughts on this? And hearing that the partners wanted this and not just that this is not a WWE move.
Okay, I mean, listen, if the new bosses want something, new bosses get something. So that's there's no surprise.
The new bosses are Vince McMahon and he's bored.
No. If I would say Michael Cole maybe is the voice of WWE, not the face. I mean, Roman Reigns is certainly the face right now.
Right.
Anyway, what do
He's
I
a
think?
heel, Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The main thing that I think is that the 3-hour show is the show that needs 3 people on it. I'm grateful that Kevin Patrick, who's awful, is off of the 3-hour show so I can hear less of him. And I'm grateful for 3 Men on SmackDown, which is only 2 hours, so that Kevin Patrick, it's his input is reduced even further. As to that they want Michael Cole on both shows, I really don't care. I'm agnostic on Michael Cole. To me, he's not Al Michaels, but I don't feel that he's terrible either. And I think that for many years, Vince was telling him what to say. And I think that since he's been freer, he's been more interesting, or he's at least acknowledged other wrestling, universes and promotions and things like that. But I'm not listening to wrestling from Michael Cole. I mean, the only thing that I'm interested in Michael Cole is when Bayley makes fun of him, and when either Corey Graves or Wade Barrett pick on him, and he's good enough.
And Top Dollar and Top Dollar.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care.
Oh, and he rips on no when he rips on Top Dollar.
Destroyed Top Dollar.
I mean, none of these teams are Heenan and Monsoon or McMahon and Ventura.
JR and King.
JR and King.
Yeah, JR, exactly. JR and King. So listen, they can keep looking. I hope that Big E gets better physically, but if not, I hope they put him on commentary. Or if they won't, if they want maybe try him at NXT, bring Booker T up to Raw. I want what I hear to be interesting. And if Chris's gripe is that Michael Cole is not particularly interesting, Chris is right. But he's not the problem with WWE commentary. I mean, Kevin Patrick is the problem, and Corey Graves ain't that interesting. And Wade Barrett is. I mean, Wade Barrett is amazing at this, I have to say. And, why don't you try one of the many females you have there that seem pretty good at talking as well? I mean, they tried with Renee Paquette. She wasn't any good at it, but maybe Kathy Kelly would be. Bring Kelly Kincaid up. I don't know. As long as it's not Megan Moore. Anyway, I don't feel
ring announcer right now. I'd say give her a shot because she might be the best ring announcer since Fink. I mean, legitimately, I like her as a ring announcer, but
yeah,
give her a shot on commentary. Yeah, Ricochet's
girl.
Yeah, Samantha Irvin. Yeah, she's pretty good, but I won't put her above Jillian Hall. Anyway, yeah, I don't have strong feelings on it.
Okay. Jimmy, the audio guy, Jimmy T, knowing that you're going to hear Michael Cole all the time in your ears, and I think they meant it could have been a typo. They could have probably meant voice when they said face, but that was
he's going to be the play-by. He's going to be the play-by-play guy on Raw, but supposed to be the color guy on SmackDown. But we'll get to that in a moment. But as far as Cole goes for me, yeah, I never rated him at the start, like when he first came in. But I will say this. I don't know if you guys realize this, but he was a war reporter, man. He was a war journalist that used to go to Iraq, all sorts of war-torn countries, even Serbia, the Balkan wars over there, and Croatia and all that, the Yugoslav wars. He was covering all that stuff, so he's got balls, man. So, I'll take my hat off to him for that. But as far as his commentating goes,
cool.
I think he's improved much, much more over the last 8 years, say. I think he's way more, easier on the ears. I think since Vince especially has been gone, supposedly, he's much better. He seems much more invested, especially when he's with McAfee. He's on a different level. I think Cole is great when he's with McAfee because McAfee really brings out the greatness out of Cole. You know what I mean? They complement each other perfectly. But when he's not happy and he's just going through the motions, that's when he really sucks, and it shows it. He just needs someone fresh that can just sort of motivate him, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And Kevin Patrick sucks.
Oh, he does. I think we can all
I don't
agree
understand why.
And we can all agree that Chris looked like a head coach in the NFL trying to, get guys to get into position on the play right there.
Man on the field. Get off! Get off!
Get the fuck off the field!
But can I say also, I don't hate Corey Graves like you guys do. I actually like him. I think he's actually quite good. I know he can get annoying, but I think he does his job pretty well, though, when you think about it, as a color guy.
That's the problem. I think but that's the whole bit. He's supposed to be a heel, and he's not. He tries too hard to be a heel, and it's fake, and that's how it comes across. And that's why I don't like Corey. Whereas Wade straddles that line. He gives you just enough of a heel moment but
Right.
still fills in with the technical aspects that you want from a color guy. Like that's why you want to.
He's more neutral though compared to Graves though. When
No,
you think
I-
about it,
no,
No,
I
Wade
think
is
he
more of a
is.
heel. Corey Graves is the
You
one that
think
tries
so?
to straddle both sides of the fence.
Corey tries to straddle both sides, and that's the thing. Wade will give you the technical aspect with a heelish undertone, and like whereas Corey will say ridiculous
always, though.
things over the top to try to be a heel, and the fact that like last night Michael Cole or Kevin Pat, I can't remember which one because they're like, do you even hear yourself talk when they talk to Corey Graves? Because it felt like he just said something heelish to try to be heelish, and not it didn't like go with the flow, you know. You need that guy and that color guy to be heel or babyface, whatever that is. But you need that to be a little bit more subtle to give you the technical aspects of it. Wade will be that heel, but he's not over the top to where it's still enjoyable to listen. He has that fine balance.
Well, what Retro Rocket Review said in his last comment is actually kind of true. Like he says, Corey improved and he was calling out all the wrestling moves last night when that used to not be allowed, which is true. He was saying all sorts of wrestling moves. No, but he was. He actually
I'm not
was.
laughing at you. I made the mistake of looking into the chat and Todd Brantley, the comment king, I think maybe losing his title. Because there's nothing about MLW we can say the best, except it's the best of being unwatchable.
Yeah.
Speaking of Matt Striker, is it just me or has he changed physically?
I
It's
don't know.
not
I haven't
just
seen
me,
him.
He has changed physically.
He's changed, man. What's wrong with him, man? He doesn't look the same. I saw him recently. I think it was on.
When you
I saw
get
someone-
older and you try desperately to stay in shape, you tend to look more emaciated, and it changes everything.
Oh, it's bad,
It's like
man. I never
older
realized.
skinny
it got that
guys
bad.
don't
Right.
always look like. There's a fine line between being older and looking like you're in shape and looking like you're battling cancer. And I don't mean that.
He does, yeah, and right, you spot on though. He looks like he's battling cancer, man.
He's probably a vegan now.
Enough said.
And that's
right.
what he looks
Yeah.
like. He looks like someone who switched to veganism about 15 months ago.
Look,
You're
I mean,
right.
I don't know if
Sadly.
I could ever do that. Look, if my doctor said, "Hey, you need to go vegan, or you're going to die in 5 years," guess what? Boy, set my funeral for 5 years because that's what's going to
I'm gonna
happen.
have a really fun 5 years and get
Yeah.
the fuck out. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck that.
I go crazy with that eating meat, dude. Like I'm telling you,
Oh my god.
I need my meat, man.
We need to clip that. We need to clip
Yes, we
that.
do. We know you do.
Oh,
Don't we
no.
know it?
Yeah, Jimmy just clipped it himself. He just said he just.
By the way, Jimmy, you missed out on this, so I'm gonna try to save it, I guess, for next week. But you know how I do like a special intro for you, like every week on the skirmish.
Right, right.
I have like a little thing. My line this week was was actually about that you're the reason why everything's about penis on the PWC. So
Did you say
look
that?
out, look out
I
for
did
that.
hear the
this
intro,
week.
but
No, you didn't hear the intro because I didn't do an intro for you on the skirmish this week. 'cause
no,
you weren't
right,
on the
yeah.
skirmish
So
this week.
wait, which intro? Oh, you're talking about if I was on, that was
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
be the
yeah.
intro. Oh.
That would've been
I was
it's a
going to
beautiful
say,
body.
why did you have to like? You should have
That's
surprised
okay.
me still.
and that's okay because the Sinister Ministry is all about soaking and stroking. That's all.
Ah,
So, with that transition, it's an hour. So let's go ahead and talk some Smack Attack.
Let's get
SmackDown
soaked.
and let's get soaked with SmackDown.
Ooh.
Gentlemen, last night's show
Ooh, yeah.
came for us on it was August 11th, 2023, from the Saddle Dome in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, with commentary by Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and Kevin Patrick. The new shakeup of the commentary last night.
Shake it up.
Yeah. So, and surprisingly enough, we start off with Charlotte Flair making her way down to the ring, and they give a little clip of what happened with them and Io Sky and Asuka and all the three-way and all that happened there. So then we have a match of Charlotte Flair versus Asuka. And one thing I wanted to ask real quick before we get into this, we all watched SummerSlam. Did any of you feel like the Bianca Belair injury was legit?
No, I mean, I thought it was probably storyline,
right.
but she definitely sold it well. And the way they orchestrated with the ref not leaving her side until another ref with the medical team came was very good. But I was pretty sure it was storyline, but not 100%. But then when she started looking back to the ring while she was limping, I'm like, yep, storyline, cool. So, yeah, that's
Okay.
my answer.
Chris?
Yeah, no, I didn't think that it was a legitimate injury. I thought that she actually sold it too well for it to have been a legitimate industry or injury. Um, yeah, I guess maybe she needs a little bit of time off. Maybe she's just taking a few weeks off in order to, come back as a heel. Maybe we're gonna see her join the Hurt Business or whatever the hell they're calling themselves.
The
The
Suit
new
Profits.
blood.
The New
Oh, no,
Blood.
not the blue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The Suit Profits.
Yeah.
The Suit Profits.
The
we'll
Suit
get into that.
profits
Profits.
just sounds stupid though. What the fuck
Yeah.
is a suit profit?
No. Anyway, Jimmy, what do you think? Well, the injury legit or not?
Yes, Seville.
Nah, absolutely not. I never fell for that, man.
Yeah. But Sonya Deville is legitimately injured, so that means our women tag titles. Chelsea Green actually posted on Instagram, "Hey, I'm taking open tryouts for partners to see who can replace
He's
Sonya
so
Deville."
dumb.
Oh,
Kill
let me
these
tell you
belts
something. I'm
already,
a little bit pissed off here, and this has nothing to do with anyone in this chat. But I did a Hammerlock Hangover. I had to do a solo show. I did it. I recorded it Monday night. Steve did not drop it until this morning, and I'm pretty sure on that I said something. It would have been fun if she holds some sort of auditions, but I'm not sure because I haven't listened back to it. So I don't know if I'm yelling about nothing or not. But I think that I sort of prognosticated this.
Okay.
Look.
There's a chance Jeff was right about something. Everyone
Oh my
acknowledge him.
god!
In advance, but nobody will know it.
Oh man. Well, you're saying it a week late, sir. If you said it on Monday, there's no proof because it dropped today.
I know.
Yeah. So anyway, we have this match with Asuka versus Charlotte. I mean, obviously, I'm trying to skip around this one a little bit. It wasn't a terrible match. It was an okay match.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about terrible matches. The main event of Dynamite and the main event of Rampage. After seeing those two matches, this was fucking the whatever the greatest Russian ballet ever of all time.
This was Bret Austin at WrestleMania in comparison.
to Saraya and Sky Blue, that everybody was like, "Oh my god, I can't wait for this match. It's gonna be amazing."
Honestly, Saraya and Sky Blue was the second worst of the week because that
Put it
fucking
this way, John.
Dynamite main event. Man, holy fuck!
Me and Chris were going to do Uncaged late last night, right?
Okay.
And then he was watching my feed, to watch Rampage.
Allegedly.
As we were watching it, allegedly. Oh yes, true, allegedly. So put it this way, I felt bad. I go towards the end. I go, you know what, Chris? Fuck this shit, man.
Friends watching TV together.
No, because I feel bad, man, that I'm putting you through this shit. And I'm watching it for the second time now, right? So I'm like, this show's just that bad. I go, Chris, just go to bed, bro. Fuck this. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, it's not worth it. We'll just do it tonight. You know what I mean? That's how bad this show was.
All right. Well, and apparently Retro Rocket is like, "What am I missing? It was so bad."
It wasn't. If we're talking about Charlotte against Asuka, it wasn't.
No.
They're talking about Saraya
Rampage.
and Sky Blue.
Right. Just Rampage. in general.
What are you missing? I guess eyes.
Right. Wow, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I couldn't even. I turned on AEW once last night, and then I was like, "Nope, James Bond is on, and it is the man with the golden gun." Yes, please. Look,
Mr. Scaramanga.
Look, Christopher Lee is the shit. I mean, I'm telling you, if you've never seen. No, the dude at 88 years old released a heavy metal album. He released a Christmas.
Does he sound good?
album. Dude, it's fucking awesome.
Really?
Christopher Lee is the fucking man.
He is the fucking man. Like,
And he was the lead singer of the Crash Test Dummies.
no.
Crash Test Dummies.
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
I mean, well, look, Kiss still goes strong, man.
Look,
And they still sound great. So
The fact that Christopher Lee had the balls to walk up to, like, when they were directing, when Peter Jackson was directing something about Lord of the Rings, and he goes, no, that wouldn't work. He goes, how do you know? He goes, of the two of us, who has met Tolkien? Oh, I have, sir. And he said that to Peter Jackson.
Also, the fact that he walked up to Peter Jackson was like, and because so Christopher Lee was famously actually a fucking a secret
SLS.
agent for fuck's sakes, basically, right?
was he?
And
Yes.
in the middle of filming, there's a scene where his character gets stabbed, and he walks up to fucking to the director, and he's like, have you ever heard a man get stabbed? It actually sounds more like this, and it's like, oh my god,
Yeah,
this guy, he's
So
a fucking,
stabs you?
he can do heavy metal in his 90s. He's a former fucking secret agent. He's the coolest fucking guy in the
Like,
world. That
James
is the
Bond.
most interesting man in the world.
He's
Yeah,
been
James
Dracula in 6 different decades.
Yeah, James Bond was based off of the stories of his unit.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Like the stories of his unit, they were based off of him, like in
Wow.
his unit and what they did. That was the whole premise. That's where because shit. Why am I
Ian
bringing?
Fleming.
In Fleming was he basically wrote the reports for these secret agents in World War II, and that's where he got the ideas for James Bond because of Christopher Lee.
By the way, what a great concept for a bunch of espionage books. That the cover is that the guy is an actor, so like once a year he does a movie, or every now and then he takes small bits in movies, and that's where he's actually doing his like undercover stuff.
They did that with Jean-Claude Van Damme. It was an Amazon show, and it was like Jean-Claude Van Damme or something like that. Yeah, I'm serious. It's on there. It's hilarious. It's like he goes in. He's a secret agent, but he's Jean-Claude Van Damme. But he takes these roles to be the secret agent.
We have to shoot in Colombia this week.
Yeah,
for this week.
It's hilarious. It's very funny to
The
watch.
director demanded Minsk.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So it's very funny to go check that out. But anyway, this is Asuka, Charlotte. This was a premise to
fuck
lead
did
up
we get
to. Yeah. Well, because it's easy because this match was. But the premise of it was to have Io Sky come out to flaunt the thing, and Damage Control beats them up because Damage Control runs the world. Because Bailey, as Michael Cole says, Bailey's in the back saying, "We are the champs. We are the champs," and it's really Io Sky. But Dakota Kai was back last night. I'm going to be honest, at the end of the night when she said, and you're new, whatever, like she sounded like shit. I don't remember her sounding that bad. Like,
yeah, her voice
She
was
was-
kind of off. You're right.
it sounded real bad. I don't remember that at all. Am I misremembering her voice? Or-
No.
Yes.
I thought the same thing, actually, to be honest. So
She's terrible.
there was something off. She's terrible, though, to be
Okay.
fair.
Okay, all right. Well, she
She
started
sucks.
off bad, and it just reminded her of how bad she was. Okay.
The only thing I'm interested in this is, I think it's fine that they came in and beat them both up, but Asuka's a heel, so does this mean that Asuka's now going to be turned face?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I doubt it, though.
Look,
I get the mist over as a face.
Right.
Well, I know she didn't always need the mist, but she did, because if people want to
But-
like her.
She's kind of a tweener, though, because of the fans as well. I mean, she's kind of right in the middle right now. Asuka.
We're obviously going to get a can they coexist between Charlotte and Asuka part
Oh,
97
100%.
as they
They're
tag
going to
team
team up
against
next
Io
week.
and Bailey.
100. right,
No,
exactly.
no,
Because
no.
Dakota
Exactly.
can't, Dakota
Yep.
didn't get in the ring until it was all done.
Yep.
She can't.
Well, she didn't get in the ring at all. I don't think she
She
got in the ring.
can't get into the ring for
Yeah.
another few months. She's not ready yet to
Yeah,
come back.
she was
That's
just there on the
100%.
outside with the mic.
Right.
But,
Right. Which
you
is
know.
nice.
yeah,
Jeff's
for
like
me-
positives. Dakota Kai didn't wrestle.
Right, yeah, we go. If you remember, Asuka was using the mist when she was a face because she would use it
She
when she
was,
was
right.
like overpowered or down and out. Like,
Saying,
like there's 3 or 4 people.
Remember
Yeah,
when
spot on.
Roseanne, they got rid of like Homely Becky and they came back with like Hot Becky? Like, I wouldn't mind if they got rid of like this Dakota Kai and like
I
came
still
back
love
with, like,
Roseanne, man.
Jade Cargill, but it's Dakota Kai.
Oh,
What are you talking about? We
Just
didn't
pull
like,
a Diesel and Razor Ramon and just
Yeah.
replace the actor.
fuck.
Yeah.
Exactly.
kind
Yeah.
of like what Aunt Bev, on the.
I already
the
said
reference
it's like
on
Hot
the show.
Becky.
Well, look at what's that show, man? Is it Days of Our Lives? It's on every freaking daytime. No, the other one, Bold
that
and the
one
Beautiful,
is,
whatever. Is it Bold and the Beautiful that's on still during the day?
Jimmy, you're not going to get the right
Jimmy,
soap opera answer
Fuck
from us.
yeah, what? What?
We
Well,
watch
you
wrestling.
motherfuckers
That's
are
our
the-
soap opera.
Yeah.
You guys know everything about soap operas. God damn it, pal. No, but my point was they've changed the actors on that show over and over the years. That it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? But they're playing the same characters.
No, the famous
just
thing
different
about
people.
soap operas is that they don't change actors. Actually, in Days of Our
I know,
Lives,
but
they brought back the old actor to play it. So they what they did is
Okay, where's Ridge from, for example? Which show was Ridge from again?
I don't know, but the
Oh,
guy
no,
who was
come on.
playing the character,
Right.
he actually was
Not
programmed
that
to
one.
think he was that character. So when the old actor came back, he retook his character, and the other guy, they just changed his name and deprogrammed him. He became like John Brown.
Look, Todd Brantley, you got your title back because that was a good one. Yes, enjoying. Yeah, I will agree with that one.
I think he means this show.
No, I think he's talking about SmackDown. No, Todd,
This show is great.
Happy
show is
birthday
awesome.
to the holster, brother.
I don't know if it is his birthday. I'm just saying. He just,
No, it is. It is. He's
Is
turned
it?
number 70. Yep.
Oh, is he? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care.
I don't care. I love it. Okay, anyway, next time.
No, John. No.
We come to Kayla backstage. Look. Okay, I'll say this.
Don't
One
do
thing
that
about the
again, dude,
conference-
please.
The one thing I love about this conference is there's always karaoke on Tuesday night, which I crush. And then Wednesday night, there's a dance party, and I was on the floor for 2.5 hours after doing leg day. So Thursday, I literally drug myself out of bed to go to the gym. It was
Did you
beautiful.
Rusev crush?
I did actually. It was a lot of fun. Anyway, so we
Macho
go backstage. I did. Look.
Karate chop.
Yeah. Right. I did the E Honda sumo slap.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
Did you do the Eddie Kingston slap motorcycle?
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
That is the dumbest slaps. I hate those slaps,
The
man.
machine gun slaps. Yes, of course.
They're pathetic.
If it
Every
wasn't for
professional
Orange
wrestler
Cassidy-
should stop doing it
If it wasn't
now.
for Orange Cassidy, those would be the worst strikes I've ever seen.
The lowest. Everyone's got to stop doing that. It's like an epidemic right now of machine gun slaps.
Look, okay, this is something I did do. You want to know something funny? I did put my hands in my pockets and I did the
Oh.
Orange Cassidy kicks on the dance floor,
Oh.
and people were digging it. Thought I was I was dancing.
Oh, no.
Like,
you piggybacked off the motherfucker?
I intentionally did that just to see how people would react.
John
They're like,
Travolta in 1977, like you're bragging about your dance exploits at the club.
yeah, I
Did you
am.
do the thumb?
No, I did the sprinkler.
Oh, damn it. The sprinkler.
I did the sprinkler. I did the shovel. And the
shovel?
light bulb.
And what about the rope?
Oh yeah. No, I lassoed somebody.
That's
You like that?
That's it.
And then you lasso them in.
Whoa.
get up
Blue
on
Oyster
that.
Styles, huh, John?
Yeah. Look,
I'm not sure what kind of dancing you're doing, John, but this and this that doesn't
The lasso.
look like a light bulb to me. That looks like you're doing something a lot more interesting, you know?
well,
It
sometimes
sounds like
shit.
your dating tips are a lot like your kidnapping tips. You lasso them in, you put in the light
Oh,
bulb.
no.
yeah. Look, hey, it works.
This
It
show
works.
is brought to you by the Sound of Freedom.
Oh
The
yes.
prequel.
Anyway, so we go to our next part, which is Kayla backstage with Santos Escobar. And as he's talking, Austin Theory comes in and just beats him up, and he slams him on the equipment in the back, and the officials break it up.
That
And
looked
then
bad.
He hits him with a piece of equipment onto Escobar's leg, and then we go to a commercial break. And Santos Escobar comes back from that commercial break. He's backstage, and doctor's like, he has ice on his left knee, and he's in pain. He's just, Look, when I saw this, I thought of the Peter Griffin.
Where's my mask?
That's what I thought. I thought of Chris Ames doing his
Yeah.
impersonation of Andrade. That's all I
Where's
thought
my
about.
mask?
Where's
Go
my-
do it, Chris.
Where is my mask? You have stolen my mask, and I will get it back from you, House of Black. Give me my mask.
Oh,
But
God.
where is your mask?
Look, this is the only reason why this show was entertaining, because we're making it entertaining right now.
Oh man, no, but still, Chris's impersonation of Tony Khan is just something else, man.
Well, I mean,
That
you
is
just
the
gotta
best.
you just gotta be coked up and no
Yeah,
blink.
well,
Well, Chris is always.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna take that kind of bullshit, but you whatever you want, because
I'm
the greatest book in
I'm
the
not
world.
gonna
I'm a
take
first-time
this
book-
shit anymore. I'm really
Yeah.
not. You guys seriously, I'm not gonna take this shit anymore. Just watch, okay? Just watch.
oh, fuck, how good? How much does that sound like TK? No shit.
No. You spend too much time with TK there, Chris. Just saying. No, be
Just
careful.
watching his damn
Hey,
product
man.
is enough.
Cocaine is expensive. It pays to have nice friends.
Right, look, I know. I understand. All right, so next up we have AJ Styles with Meechin and Karrion Cross. So, look,
Yeah,
I
this was bad, and I mean bad.
First of all, this should have stopped like a month ago. This should have
my
stopped a
God.
month ago. It's still going on.
And when it
Second of all,
continued, there should have been a match against Gallows first.
right.
What's the point of the Good Brothers?
Well, they're
That's the
supposed
point.
to be so that you get to AJ, so it matters. But also, we had a promo from Cross saying, "Every prophet needs his disciples. Just wait." So
Who, the
we're
disciples
supposed
of
to wait.
Apocalypse?
Maybe
Could they be making a
So
comeback?
just-
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this is like he's like the Iron Mike Sharp morph with Al Snow Job Squad.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Yeah.
bad mixture.
Yeah, I mean it's not good. They kept trying to get over the Harbinger of Doom, but
Oh,
yeah.
and the other one, he had another nickname they gave him afterwards as well. I forgot what it was.
What, the guy who
The-
promises doom but loses?
No,
Yeah.
no. The Harbinger of Doom, was it that right?
The
first one?
Gardener of Doom.
Oh!
Trademark infringement, and I got the trademark.
No, but really,
Go get
oh,
it.
something about the evil renegade or some shit like that, man, or something renegade.
No, but
It's just
like,
retarded, man.
yeah, he's like, I
The
learned from AJ. and
retarded
I'm-
renegade.
Yeah. I learned from
Fuck.
AJ, so I'm gonna have my disciples. You know, I mean, like whatever.
Well,
like,
apparently he is going to start a faction. That's the
You
word on
know,
the street.
that would have been fine too. Like they just could have done this in different timing. Like they could have had the match, right? I think it was a bad thing to do. I think him lose the 50-50 booking is fucking ridiculous. Like one of the main selling points behind AEW when they first started, like one of the things they mentioned 100 times in like their first few promos and everything before the company actually started was we're not going to do 50-50 booking here at AEW, which I mean they do of course, but that's something that pisses people off. It's fucking annoying. It means that nobody gets
Not
over.
AEW, not AEW fans, Chris.
And listen, you could have had all of this stuff happen on the show, and it could have made way more sense in a different format. So just hear me out, okay? You have Karrion Kross. He comes out. He loses to AJ. You do the match exactly how you did it, right? You have a couple of segments go by, and then we see a backstage promo. Karrion Kross is backstage. It's not quite so produced, but he's in a dark lit room, and he says almost verbatim what he says, and then it makes sense because, okay, I lost, but here's how I can win, right? I need to go and I need to bring my own people in or whatever, right? But doing it this way was like, I'm going to bring my own people in so that I can beat AJ. Then he loses. Nobody comes in to help him. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Just
Yeah.
time it differently, and it would have been so much better.
yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. You know, the timing of it was dumb. It felt like something that should have happened after the match, maybe even later in the show.
It should have
Like you-
happened.
like you
And
said,
it hasn't
after
even
the
been
match, right.
50-50 booking.
Yeah.
Cross has lost all matches.
No,
to AJ
Cross
Styles.
won like the last match. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
He
sure.
won against, but it was
No,
because
he
Carl
beat-
Anderson.
He beat Carl Anderson. He's never beat
He
AJ.
beat AJ in like 3
No,
minutes.
he beat
2 minutes
AJ.
ago.
He did. He beat
There was
AJ.
a bunch of
100%.
people were pissed off about it because he beat
He
him so
did.
quick.
I remember that clearly. He did 100%.
Yeah, it was like right before I think SummerSlam or the week before SummerSlam. It was like a
It could have
3
been the
minute.
week
And I'm
before
pretty sure he
SummerSlam.
beat him down after the match was over.
No, he did.
He pinned
won the
AJ
match.
in like 3
He
minutes.
did.
It was a
Yeah.
Well,
100%.
anyway,
It doesn't
AJ
matter.
is
Like
like-
it doesn't matter. Clearly, it didn't fucking
It's
make any
irrelevant,
kind of
right. It's
yeah,
irrelevant.
it didn't make any kind of imprint.
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
and AJ is.
Yeah,
the
remember
guy
we were
with
complaining
backs
about it. I
and
go,
the
it
guy
done
that's-
nothing for him.
And he's in his mid 40s. If you're trying to put someone over, AJ is the one that's supposed to put over the younger guy who isn't that young to begin. He's 35, but he is. That's young by WWE standards. But this isn't putting him over. You're just burying him, and it's like you've got this whole act. You got the big muscle guy. You got the girl who looks like Sable,
Dude.
where her boobs are out.
Not only buried though, Jeff. Mission buried Bordeaux after throwing the way she tossed her over that table. That was wicked. I mean,
I mean,
But Scarlett-
it's okay to Michin beats her because Scarlett's not supposed to
Yeah.
be a wrestler, but this whole
Right.
thing is dumb. Like, why would you get disciples? Who would follow you? You've been nothing but a
the
disaster.
cult of
If it-
cross.
Like it would have made sense if he beat AJ or he was beating up AJ and the Good Brothers came in to stop it and it was a DQ. So then he got his disciples to come in. It was a no finish, whatever that is.
Mhm.
That would have made sense, but this makes no sense. I mean,
Maybe it's Andrade and Miro with the mask.
No, what it
do that.
is that Bray has failed, and so they want another
Oh.
spooky faction.
Yeah.
Do you think it could be Bray, actually?
No, Bray has failed, and they want another spooky. You see the report today that Bray's illness may have been life-threatening.
Yeah,
It's like,
mental
oh my God, thank God he's
fucking
okay.
illness.
What-
That's what it is.
What life-threatening? And then you have the reporters saying, well, it's a personal matter. He deserves his privacy.
Oh,
Okay,
fuck off.
listen, I understand what you're saying, but when an actor has an illness and can't be on set, or when an athlete can't be on their team, they disclose what the illness is.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you want to be a celebrity, things that are private matters become public matters when you're supposed to be performing. And that's just a price of celebrity.
I'm pretty sure I actually know who's going to join the faction, and because they just fit like being like sort of dark characters, and like really like sort of just keep them quiet and have them like really be muted and sort of angry and in black. What you do is you bring in Elton Prince and Kim
Oh.
Wilson, and you just have them be just the heaters for Karrion Kross's new stable.
Well, you know who it's going to be. It's going to be
Then they can be
It's gonna be
really
pretty deadly.
deadly instead of pretty deadly.
It's going to be people that they're doing nothing with right now. It's going to be like the one guy he's beaten, Riddick Moss, and like a Rick Boogs, or they're going to dig up Elias and put him in there. So it's going to be a bunch of jabronis, which is fine if he ever won.
No, I want 3MB to come back as Cross as the new leader.
What if it's the NXT guys that are in the cult down
what's
there?
it called? Yeah.
Oh, the
Gacy you're talking about.
Schism.
Schism. No,
That's Schism, yeah.
Those guys
They're
are
schismed, though.
they're done in October.
Yeah, they've already schismed already again.
Yeah, because I heard that they were done in October, but like, could that be evident of a like,
No, they
move up?
suck anyway. Good riddance to them. Even before, when they were called, what were they called? The dirty old
The
Tommy
Dyad, the grizzled
Poofters.
young
Oh yeah,
veterans,
the grizzled young
GYV.
Poofters, whatever.
No, man, we need more cults in wrestling. There's not enough
Right.
cults in wrestling.
Not enough. No, there really isn't. There really isn't. We need
Yeah.
more cults.
More cults, more
100%.
cults, more cults.
More cults. Heck, we even need Brother Love back as the head of the new cult.
I love you.
I love you.
We only Brother
Yeah.
Love. Enright can do it. He's the sinister minister.
Yeah.
I'll chew. You're the
I'll come
legit
in.
Southerner too. Go do it, please.
Yeah. I love you. So, all right. So we agreed this match was nothing, and it was again a disappointment. All to set up the fact that Karrion Kross is somehow going to have disciples now, for some reason, which makes no sense.
Maybe they're like little Jimmies and they're not like real. Like you can't see them.
Like you.
Like you,
Yeah, but you
That's
can
what
see
he
me,
meant.
unfortunately.
I don't see it.
because you're AI generated.
I just
Well,
hear you.
whatever. You can, I will go blank. No, but really, maybe it's our truth.
No.
Yeah,
Defend that
bring
one.
back our truth. Just
Why
just
not?
have him be
I mean, if
super-
he's going to be a disciple, right, where he's fully like hypnotized.
you just
under
pull a
the spell
straight
of
up
Christ.
right to censor, and you have like some of the most entertaining guys come back just completely muted and not wanting to say anything. Yeah, bring our truth and Pretty Deadly back, and they're all gothic and silent. That would be fucking hilarious.
Absolutely, I'm down.
Just bring back the Misfits.
Aaron Ben Shlomo, thank you, sir. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Otherwise-
Shalom, shalom.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Secret reveal: HMG is a cult.
Yeah.
mm,
Hamin Media Cult.
yeah.
Rodaha, yalla.
And then we had another recap of Cody Rhodes against Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, which was awesome after this match.
Awesome, dude. How?
And then
I mean,
it's
I'm such a Cody mark
awesome.
now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Edge music's hit, and he comes down to the ring
Fuck
because
both
it's
of you.
Canada. What?
What? You hate Cody?
I fucking hate Cody. Move
No,
on.
Well,
I'm
you
not
shouldn't
saying-
hate Cody.
I was being sarcastic about mine.
I wasn't. I actually was. But, yeah. I was going along with you, John.
I don't hate anyone.
funny.
That's,
so
you hate everyone, Jeff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Jeff
If you
is-
hate everyone, you don't hate anyone.
You hate everyone equally. How's that?
yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff is the epitome of the curmudgeon.
But
So-
he does. But But he really doesn't. You should have seen him and Jimmy last night. Jeff hates Jimmy more than most people.
Oh, for sure. If there's anyone he hates, it's me. 100%.
All right. So next we have Kathy Kelly backstage. So we had Edge's music. We had a commercial break. Kathy Kelly comes back with Austin's theory. He's upset he might not be able to defend his title because Escobar is hurt, and he mocks him. And then we cut to Edge in the ring. And he wasn't advertised. He got his 25-year anniversary.
Wait. Don't skip over Kathy Kelly. Boobs.
Okay. Well, boobs. Okay. There you go. So then we have that. He's got his 25th-year anniversary in WWE next week in Toronto. And he saw Calgary was on the list a week before, and it's been too long since they've seen each other. Cheap pop. So basically, this was all look, I kind of enjoyed this promo because it was no bullshit. Like, it was like legit two guys talking. It was him saying, I want to wrestle my 25th anniversary against somebody who I really haven't ever wrestled, and I want it to be Sheamus. And Sheamus was the reason why I got back into the ring, because Sheamus has a YouTube show called Celtic Warrior Workouts, and I challenged him to come ride a mountain bike because I thought it would look like a gorilla fucking a ball. And it was. And he says, but then, of course, your reference today, Chris, he goes, and I thought he would fall off a bike and it would be hilarious. But I fell off the bike and they showed the clip of it. And I popped in, why can't I do wrestling? And so, and then Sheamus puts him over by saying, hey, in 2004, I was trying to decide if I was going to wrestle or whatever. And I was bouncing in a bar. All these guys came in. Nobody gave time, but you did. And you gave me a conversation. That conversation, if it wasn't that for that conversation, I wouldn't be here today. So, they jerked each other off, saying, yeah, I'm going to wrestle you, fella, but did you make a mistake? And then, they smiled at each other.
Someone's got to highlight Todd Bentley's comment.
Which
please.
one?
Come on, John. The one, the American Nightmare one.
Okay. So it is Chris's American Nightmare.
I mean,
and apparently, speaking of boobs, Aaron Ben Shlomo says, speaking on boobs, WWE has amazing boobs. Just saying.
The breast.
Look, there's the breast. They're the breast.
AI tits, nothing beats them.
Yeah. I look.
Who would know better than you?
Based off of everything up to this point, this was one of the more entertaining moments of the night for me. But there was not much going on up until this point in the night that made it very entertaining. So, is this one of those things where I'm looking at it because it's the best thing of the night so far because nothing much has gone on, or was this actually really good? I'm a little confused by this. Chris, what do you think? Am I confused, or was it better than I am kind of underestimating everything else?
No, so there's a couple of answers here. So first of all, this was one of the best things on the night, mostly because there wasn't anything really good on the night. And secondly, I don't think this was good. I think Edge is good. I think that Edge can sort of get you into fucking near anything, to be honest with you. I think that Edge really is that good on a microphone, and he's always been pretty comfortable on the mic, but now he can really just kind of flow with things. Like, they booed Toronto, right? And he was like, you can't boo Toronto while I'm here. And then they booed louder because fuck Toronto. And the rest of Canada hates Toronto. But he just kind of chuckled at it, right? Like, he didn't let it rattle him at all because he's Edge. At this point, he's bulletproof, right? Mm-hmm. And so I don't think that this was good material. I really don't. I thought that this was pretty bad. I thought that if you could... You could have put just about anybody else in the ring saying all this, and we all would have been cringing right now. Edge is good enough to get this over, and there wasn't much else that was good on this show.
Okay. So a little bit of both. All right, Jimmy, what did you think about this segment?
Actually, what Chris said is pretty spot on. I thought it was a little cringe, to be honest, and especially where they're trying to play serious. Look, Edge, I thought, played his role much better than Sheamus did. There was something off about Sheamus, in my opinion. It's either part of the story, though, because don't you guys get the feeling it's going to turn into a blood feud? I mean, it just feels like we're going that way, but just looking at Sheamus's sort of body language, if that makes any sense.
I think it was more, because I saw that too, Jimmy, but I think it was more the fact that Sheamus honestly didn't know how to feel, because this was more of a real moment. So?
So you
This
think
is-
he didn't know he was going to bring that up?
No. I think it was more of like it was a real moment, so he didn't know
Right.
he couldn't be a heel in the traditional sense.
Right.
So he didn't
Absolutely
know
right.
how to like react to this, because it was just a real segment, and you could see the moment, like when they showed the picture of him on Edge's daughter's bike, like that
Right,
was a
right.
real reaction, like that wasn't fake.
think
That
so?
wasn't, and I think it was that the guard's down for a moment. So he's almost vulnerable.
But
in
right,
this
but it
moment.
made the fans even feel kind of weird, especially when they were giving shit to each other. Like when Sheamus was saying, "Oh, look at your chin," and then the leader part. Like, was that necessary? Like, why did they take those sort of jabs?
Because they're friends and they're joshing, but it's not in a heel face moment. This is just two guys busting each other's balls as friends. And
Well, then
that
if that's
was
the case,
But
it was weird.
and they want to build some tension before the
Right.
match. They
You think?
they don't. Yeah, they don't want you to think that it's going to be two guys hugging in the ring. They want you to
Right.
think that these are two guys who are going to try to beat each other in a competition. Which,
Mhm.
hey, I've been saying for the last 3.5 years, that's what professional wrestling is meant to do. For fuck's sakes, it's supposed to be two guys competing to
Not
pin the other
fucking.
one's shoulders to the mat. And I mean, listen, these are two guys who have done everything in professional wrestling. They're both former Royal Rumble winners. They're both multiple-time world champions, right? These guys have literally done everything you can do in professional wrestling for the most part, sans the Intercontinental belt for Sheamus for whatever reason. But they, if I'm Sheamus and somebody who's as established as Edge says, "Hey, I want to have a wrestling match with you," and even if we're friends, if I can get a tiny little, just a little bit of an emotional or mental edge over him by saying, "Hey, I mean, I'm happy to have this match with you, and it's going to be good, but I'm not going to take it easy, and you might be second guessing that decision you made to come back." I might joke with my friend, but if we're competing, like I'm
There's
gonna
no
try to
joke.
get my
Right.
to try to
Right.
get my leg up on him, especially if
Yeah.
it's a game like this. Like I boxed, guys. I boxed against people I liked, but you're heading
Oh yeah,
into
but
that
that's
fucking
different.
match.
You got to respect the Warriors' respect for that type of person. You know what I
But
mean?
you're
Right.
supposed to for wrestling too. That's my point, Jimmy. Like
right.
wrestling is supposed to be a competition between two guys
Supposed to
trying
be.
to beat each other.
Right.
So yeah, like it made sense. I liked that, but it was basically
But you're not
just,
sure.
I really didn't like what they had to work with. But Edge and
Yeah.
Sheamus are both really fucking good.
Well, the fans kind of reacted weird too, which kind of made the segment a little kind of weird at one point. But it's like the fans weren't really reacting to anything.
Well, I mean, how do you react when you're watching two friends like josh each other? Like you're just kind of like, yeah.
Well, then
okay,
I
like,
ask you this: was it necessary to be doing this type of thing on television?
what else were they going to fill it with? They're not going to put on wrestling.
What? No.
I mean, they've
I know
proven
that.
aspect.
Of course
That's
not.
true. Funny
How
enough,
could they
on a wrestling
possibly
show.
do that?
And it
No,
saved
but-
us from like 20 minutes of recaps. So, I mean, there is that.
That's true, but did they need to get that personal? That's all I'm saying. They could have just used the part where he fell off his bike and whatnot, right? I'm talking about Edge, and how Sheamus motivated him to come back. That's it. I didn't have to go any deeper.
Or does anyone ask me?
Yeah, of course, go for it, Jeff.
Look, go for it, Jeff.
Okay. So remember a few months ago when Guardians of the Galaxy 3 came out and everyone pretended that it was a great movie?
Right.
But you saw it and it wasn't a great movie, but you
I still
sort of
haven't
enjoyed
seen
it anyway because you like the characters and you like
Yeah.
the chemistry they have. So it was nice seeing your friends together, even though the movie made no sense. There was barely any plot, and it was ill constructed. And if you
The
actually
Christmas special was literally better.
the
Oh, yeah.
Christmas special was much better. And even worse, when they told you this is their last ride, so you expected that there'd be some deaths involved. There weren't even that. Anyway, this was the WWE version of Guardians of the Galaxy 3. This felt very AEW when they're trying to when they're trying to
Exactly.
do something from the real world and make it into a match. It also felt very much when Bryan Danielson had a list of people he wanted to wrestle. So the list of people he wanted to wrestle became the 5 people he had to fight before he got to MJF. So it didn't make sense that why is he fighting Face Bandito and why is he fighting Face Takeshita? Oh, because they were on his list, but they decided that this is who MJF would decide to put in front of him. Okay, this makes sense in no way, shape, form. They even flew in Timothy Thatcher for that goddamn thing. This felt just like that. The story was nice, but it isn't that nice. It wasn't that charming. And at the end, Sheamus remembered it's a wrestling angle. It's like, just remember, you might have just made the biggest mistake of your life. This would have been better if it was a video segment and they broke it up into splicing back and forth like a video segment and done it, and it was like a 4.5 or 5 minute segment rather than in the ring for 20 minutes. I didn't like it. It felt very contrived. That Edge said, "I want to do a match," and they said, "Well, okay, you want to do it in your hometown. Okay, let's respect it. Okay, so we have to make up a story."
It was bad, really, when you think about it.
And this is what they came up with, because wrestlers are not generally all that creative, and people are not generally all that creative. This is what they came up with. So instead of making it short and sweet and giving us, Sheamus was my inspiration and come there, but I want to see which one of us really made the right choice, or I want, or whatever it is. Whether this becomes a blood feud or not, I don't know. I don't care. I mean,
but you're right, Jeff.
I'd have to think harder on the face heel dynamic on SmackDown, if that even matters anymore with the brand split.
What brand split?
Exactly. But no, I didn't like this, and this was just a chance to get the Brawling Brutes on fight night so that they can come out there and you see Butch and Mini Brock, they're talking to each other, making faces as if they're invested in this whole thing.
Well, and that's the whole bit. The other half, as you're looking behind them, they're not like smiling. They just look confused, and they have these angry faces the entire time, wearing their rugby jerseys, going,
"Fuck
man." Like giving almost confused looks. And
the whole time, all I'm wondering is, why did they separate Sheamus from both Gunther and Drew?
Yeah. But I mean, I think, I get that, and the reason why they did it is because, hey, it's Canada, it's a cheap pop. We'll put Edge out there, and we don't even have to wrestle, and they're gonna cheer, yay!
Do you think it could possibly be his last match? He has said throughout the past year that he wants to retire in Toronto
on a random Friday. No,
with a match with Sheamus, no. He's going to at least make a pitch for Christian to rejoin him before he
They have to go full circle with him too. I agree.
Yeah. It's one of those things again where we see
him rejoin Christian. I mean, it can be either way.
I would hate to see Edge in AEW.
Everyone would, but they're gonna want to take their last tour together.
Right. And he's too tall. They'll be losers.
It's Adam Cliff Copeland.
Adam Cliff.
Oh my God.
The Cliff's Edge. That's his finisher.
But this is a way to get a pop on Canadian TV. You got Edge out there, and hey, by the way, Edge, you're 25 years, even though you were gone for 9. Your 25 years in wrestling with us is on next Friday or whatever they set the match on Monday. I don't know.
It's a match I never knew I wanted to see.
Right. I still don't.
Right, that's my point.
Yeah, okay, cool. You and Sheamus have never wrestled. Okay.
Cool.
Great.
It's a match I never knew I didn't want to see.
Right. Yeah. So cool. All right. Great. I'm sure it'll be like a C-level match. It'll be good. It won't be great. It won't be anything outstanding.
I bet it'll be a lot better than we think, though.
There's solid. It's gonna be a solid match. It's not gonna be anything barn breaking or
It's gonna be a banger.
It's not gonna be anything outrageous. But
it'll either be a very solid 20-25 minute match, or it's going to be a schmoz. That means it's going to be one extreme or the other. That's it.
Yeah. So after this, we see a clip of the Slim Jim Battle Royal with LA Knight getting the win.
Yeah.
And then we saw the clip of Raw with LA Knight and The Miz.
That was bloody great, man. That was the best thing on Raw.
Yeah, I didn't see it, so it looked
fine. It was good, man. You should check it out. Talk about real. They started work shooting on that promo too, man.
So then LA Knight's music hits, and of course we go to commercial break because why not? Let's have the music hit, have a pop, and go to commercial because that's the great way to do that.
Why not?
So then we come back and LA Knight versus Top Dollar and Hit Row, and it starts off with looks like, oh my gosh, Hit Row is just all over the place in there. LA Knight's going to go down, but nope.
They're
nope.
spread row.
Yeah. They get all taken out, and LA Knight defeats Top Dollar with the blunt force trauma, and then he gets to the microphone. Huh? What's that?
Can Adonis fuck off with that school bag, the backpack?
No. that's
Why
the thing.
stop there? Why can't he just fuck
Oh,
all
can I
the way
continue on?
off?
Yeah, just fuck off.
Yeah,
Why the
please.
fuck? What is he? Is he a
Pretty
child?
big.
Yeah, he's pretty big for a child. So what the fuck? What is this shit?
Yeah.
Someone please explain.
He's so big that he'd probably be a jobber in AEW.
Well,
I mean, perhaps that's stylish in some corners of the world. I have
Where?
no idea.
where's that stylish, man?
I don't know. I'm stylish in no corners of the world. So I mean,
No, but for real, if that's stylish somewhere, you're a disgrace. Whatever town and city that is. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
the fact they let him come out like that. They're gonna fire these guys. Surely they're just making them look like clowns.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you need clowns, though. You need people who are going to take
Dress
pins.
them
You
up
need
as
jobbers.
Dink, Doink, and Dank.
How long did the Brooklyn Brawler have a fucking career for? You don't have to win.
He's a legend, Chris. What about the
career.
Red Rooster, bro?
Legend.
Ledge.
Terry Taylor had a career.
Absolutely.
I mean, he wasn't
Absolutely did.
always a loser. The Brooklyn Brawler was pretty much always a loser.
Still
And
had a
that's-
career. His
Yeah,
career was to
absolutely.
come out and take a fucking pin.
Listen,
20
I have
20
no
years
issue
plus.
if they create a jobber class and Top Dollar and Ashante the Adonis are in the jobber class. I would like better for B-Fab. I don't think as a wrestler, but I've said this every week, so no need to hear it again.
They should
And-
change your name to Be Fad.
And if that's going to be carrying cross, that's okay too. But he shouldn't have disciples.
Well,
And
I
then-
just think we need the disciples of Apocalypse to make their return. I'm telling you.
Then
With
again,
their
the
motorbikes
Misfits
and
were
everything.
basically jobbers, and they were a faction.
Because they're
Where's
gonna
the
be-
Harris brothers? I want the Harris brothers in
They're
2023.
going to be DOA.
They're canceled, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
DOA. I see what you did there, John. I see what you did
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. So after this, we have LA Knight get on the microphone after the match, and he says, "Doesn't matter if you're on Raw and you call yourself Awesome or Uncle Phil, but at the end of the day, you'll know what name it is." With everyone saying
LA
Knight. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Do you think the Cross's faction would be called Jokers and Deuces?
Yeah, for sure. Why not? That's got a good TikTok.
Instead of Aces and Eights?
It'll be like that. I mean, come
Look.
on. And he could come out with like one of those beanies with the clown beanies.
Oh, by the way, Team 3D is apparently going to reunite in Impact.
There you
oh my
go.
no.
3D.
Yes.
Um,
That is brilliant. I'm jumping
but-
over to Impact Wrestling. That's what I want to see in 2023.
Wrestling has literally become the rock and roll scene where the only bands that can sell.
There's only
stadiums
one
and
real
arenas
rock and
are
roller,
like the
Jeff.
Eagles and the Fleetwood Macs and the Who's of the world. They were selling in 1975, and they're the only.
Doesn't
ones
matter, man.
Otherwise, you need to put 11 bands on the stage to get.
I,
10,000.
where's my pizza? I want to see more males dressed in skirts while they wrestle.
No,
That-
Jeff, I'm gonna give you this.
I
I'm
want
gonna say
that.
this right now because I saw this the other day on TikTok or I forget Instagram or whatever.
TikTok Wrestling Federation is
No,
the,
no.
the shit.
Stop, shut it. I'm trying to talk. It's
All
a
right.
teacher who stopped every student in her school in the hallway and asked them what name one song from the band that they were wearing, and they had it was different color kids and they were like Metallica and everything, nobody knew AC/DC. Like they didn't even know the band. They were
The
just
one
wearing.
girl knew a Tupac song, which I was
Yes.
very thankful for.
Let me
Yes.
guess, Dear Mama.
Uh,
I think
If
she
I
said
was wearing a
California Love.
Godsmack
Oh, yeah, of
or a
course, of
Slipknot
course.
T-shirt, I'd have no idea who.
yeah, but they were wearing the shirts because they thought they looked cool, not because they knew the band at all. Like they probably got it at Walmart or Target for $5. And
Right, that's what
they
they're
did-
selling these days. It's true.
The kids are not wearing the shirts because they know the band. They're wearing it because it looks cool. You know
what I saw, guys? No shit, this is true. I don't know if you guys have got them, but they've got them here. Now, I'm sure you guys love Doritos, right?
Oh, yeah.
Sure, we love Doritos, Jimmy.
Right, well, have you seen Dorito underwear? I'm not kidding.
No, I have not seen Dorito underwear.
I'm talking about spicy cheese. I'm not kidding, man.
Why would
think
you
I'm
wear
joking?
underwear that said spicy cheese? What the fuck?
It's very convenient if you need a snack.
Look, this is how we know Australia is not
I
real.
kid
and it's
you
an
guys
AI
not.
construct.
No, for real. I had to look twice, yeah. I had to look twice. I'm like, wait a minute. Why is it Doritos in the friggin' underwear section of Kmart?
No, Jimmy,
right?
it's still not okay for you to eat your
And
friend's
then
underwear.
I'm going to take a picture. You guys don't believe me. I'm going to take a
they're
picture.
wearing-
I kid you not. I wonder if they smell like spicy cheese.
Don't pretend that you wonder.
Yeah, you know.
I'm
Stop
curious.
lying.
I'm not going to lie. I'm curious.
Stop lying.
Well,
Anyway,
have
said I'm
Douglas wear
curious.
some, and there you go.
Anyway, moving
Yuck,
on.
man.
We have
Come on, bro.
Escobar and Rey Mysterio backstage, and Adam Pearce, and he says, "Well, the doctor says you're okay, but here we go." And of course, that happens, and then we have a commercial break, and we see the promo of the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley sitting and having drinks, and it's a celebration of a new partnership and new opportunities. He sees a lot of talent between them, but last week, how did that feel? Doctor says it felt great, especially in suits. Ford says it's nice that their job is not finished, and Lashley says gold is out there for them to take. And then Ford tells him the sky's the limit. Lashley says SmackDown is ready for a new team to run the place. And then I think that's when Dawkins said something about this, or maybe it wasn't Dawkins. It was Ford says something about the suit profits or something along those lines.
That was dumb. Very dumb. It was
yeah.
a great thing, great vignette until that point.
Yeah. Look,
Well, Ford ruins most things by speaking. Listen, as the resident Lashley mark,
you're right.
These three have no chemistry together. None. They should not be speaking. They should just be doing physical things. But I will say this because I've been saying it for weeks: as one faction falls, another must rise.
And which one is that?
The New Blood, definitely not the Haberdashers.
I've heard that. Who's coming out with that name, the New Blood? They're going to be called that.
Well,
Why is there a rumor of that?
Lashley said it when he said cheers to New Blood.
Right, but I don't think that means that
No,
they're going to call themselves New
Profits
Blood.
definitely sounds like something more that the WWE would do. But I mean, New Blood sounds better, or but you can't. I mean, New Blood I think is more dig at Bloodline, which is why I would use New Blood because of that. But
well, it's also a dig at
new.
It's also a dig at 2000 WCW when they had the New Blood faction versus the Millionaires.
But WWE owns all WCW intellectual property, so they could use it.
Yeah, well,
I don't know what they're going to call them, but they need more in this group, that's for sure. And it's funny that you said there's no faction. They've got no chemistry, Jeff. I think it's Dawkins that has no freaking chemistry. That's stuffing up the other two.
Well, whatever it is, I don't think any of them are particularly great talkers. And you know what could fix all this easily? MVP. He can
Absolutely.
Make it, he's the glue that can make it all work together. And by the way, it doesn't need to be a black guy. So, not that he's great, but Austin Theory, who's just losing everything, why wouldn't he want to join up with
Blackheart of the nation?
No. I'm just
Enough's enough.
Not everything needs to be great. I mean, the Bloodline is your Samoan group. Other groups can be, multiracial. It ain't that big a deal.
Like the United Empire.
I have no idea what that is.
Yes,
soccer team.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. What was the WWE version though called? Actually, remember the one with Rusev? No. With Rusev, Sheamus,
the League of Nations.
That's it. League of Nations. So something like that. Say along those lines.
Sure, except they're all from the same nation.
Right.
Wow, it's true.
Except for Omos, if MVP brought him with him, which I'm all for.
Call
from
them
the same nation though.
I say they called them the Blood of Apocalypse, and you have them be the new heaters for Karrion Kross.
There you go.
Oh my god.
There you go.
TikTok to
Anyway, so
how about it turns out that they all tell Karrion Kross that they're his disciples, but he actually works for them, and he's actually the one who gets beat up for them so they can win. He loses the match, and they come and they beat people up.
And he gets his demolition
gear back. That was great, guys. And they're like, yeah, that was great, boss.
Yeah.
And he gets his bondage sheet back, and he goes out there.
And then you just have these little vignettes where Lashley's like looking over at Scarlett, and Scarlett's like looking back over at Lashley.
Like a cuck though,
yeah.
Oh, wait,
have you seen that before?
Time it while Kross is like mumbling ultimate word things, and he goes tick tock, and like Scarlett and Lashley both wink at each other at the same time.
No, and then LA Knight comes in like she's the biggest whore bag. Oh yeah.
No, LA Knight comes in. What is wrong with you? This is like Lashley and Lana all over again. The greatest
Oh,
story
my
ever.
It is. Actually, it is.
This is the greatest story ever
Fuck.
told.
No, but after that we have Santos Escobar walking to the ring, and Theory attacks him from behind. And
Leave
he
my
gets to the
cords
ring.
alone, you little bastard. Sorry.
So look, when you have a zoo over there, you can't complain about all the animals. There's been rats and cats and dogs and shit.
Rats and cats and everything.
Next thing we know, in the mirror, in the window, is a giraffe is going to stick its
It's
fucking
my
head through the
girlfriend's
window.
place. It's my girlfriend's place. She's always got animals.
And
Why
then
is there a new animal, dude? Every
Stop
time. Another one.
There's gonna be a giraffe through the fucking window wanting to get a leaf from it or take his headphones because it's so. But no,
shit.
so he gets beat up, and then Theory's like, "Oh no, I can't wrestle because Escobar can't compete. Oh no, y'all are not gonna do that." And then
Well-
Adam Pearce goes, "Oh wait, no, Rey Mysterio is gonna wrestle you for the title." Even
Was this
though
Hogan
last-
and Brett and Yokozuna all over again?
God, it feels like what the hell, man?
I mean,
like,
It's
Is it
very
not?
reminiscent. If you
Very
showed both
reminiscent.
of these things, if you showed both of those things on a split screen, you'd be like, "Oh, yeah."
yeah.
Except
Right?
it wasn't WrestleMania, so
Right,
so it wasn't
unfortunately.
as bad as that.
Like,
And
I
not
mean,
as much of a payday.
What the hell was this? I mean, Ray couldn't make it because he got whiplash, so Santos Escobar wins, right? And supposedly legitimate injury or whatever.
This
And so
smells like
then-
Vince. I hate to say it.
And then we have the Rumble that both Santos Escobar and Austin Theory were in. For what reason, I don't know, other than to be space fillers. And then we have now, it's this week, oh, now we're going to wrestle for the title. And then now all of a sudden Santos Escobar is hurt? Like,
Yeah, I'm starting to be convinced that Rey Mysterio injury was not legit, and this is all Vince McMahon and his weird story arc.
Well, in fairness, he's taking a lot of painkillers.
But I mean,
No,
this
no comment. I'm not going to get into
storytelling
that.
makes no sense whatsoever in that aspect. Like it really, like just let have Ray win, and then let's get a. This made it more convoluted than it needed to be.
Oh my god, that's
Wrestling
not wrong.
sometimes it just needs to be simple. You have a good guy, you have a bad guy. They face off over each other, and boom, there you go. That's it. We don't need to add all this stupid shit. And then, oh no, there's an injury, but the last second, here comes Ray to save the day. Woo! And then he ends up winning.
Oh,
Which is great.
shit.
And
And here's the thing. Here's the sad truth in 2023. Ray
Fuck you,
is
Todd.
he is a step above irrelevant unless he's involved with Dominic.
I want to see Max Dupree come back.
well,
Wouldn't
she
that
was-
be great? I mean, come on, imagine it'll be riots. Let me
No.
talk to you,
No.
Max Dupree.
No.
Yeah.
Allow me to talk to you. I have some things to say to you
We must
about the way that you're dressing. All of you.
And you got
It's not
Yas, like Jess.
You
At
can
the
have
end of
Max
it,
Dupree
Jess.
come back if Ezekiel comes back with him.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Can we have them as a tag team? Is that possible?
Yes.
Oh,
that'd be
now, that's money, pal.
money. But here's my thing: is that this was, I don't know, this was dumber than dumb. And then we have Ray win the championship from Austin Theory, again
Unnecessary.
on a Friday after SummerSlam for some reason.
Well, could he be punished for some reason? Maybe he failed a wellness program that we don't know of. I mean, when you think about it, Theory's
For
booking in the
dietary
last month and a half.
What the fuck?
Who the
was he
fuck
doing?
knows, bro? Who the fuck knows? He
I
could
mean, have you looked at Rey Mysterio? That dude hasn't passed a wellness exam in probably like 10
That's
years.
legit.
Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? A wellness?
But
I mean,
why would they? Yeah, exactly. But why would they do this? Just like out of nowhere, like that. It just everything was a mess. Like it was crap.
It was clusterfuck booking on the highest level. This was Tony Khan booking. This
It was. You're right. It was so AEW this fucking show. It's weird, man. Weird to say that.
You
This
never
booking.
have- you shouldn't. You should almost never have the 47-year-old beat the 25-year-old new star
Right.
if you're trying to
I
make
agree.
him a new star. clean. Unless it's a face thing, and unless Ray was the heel and his entire faction held. That's how you protect.
It
that.
has
You're
to
right.
be setting up to Carlito and Escobar going against Ray and getting that US championship.
You-
Think
you
about
said
it. What did
Carlito.
Carlito
Why
win?
do you keep
There is
saying-
no Carlito.
Yeah,
Sorry, Carlito. All right.
There is no
No.
Carlito. It's
No.
done. It
What?
was
Yeah.
a false rumor.
Yeah.
Who
he's not
said that?
coming
Who
back.
confirms that?
I do. I
The
confirm
fact that he
it is.
hasn't been on TV.
That doesn't
Yeah.
mean anything, though. I mean, they could just be waiting. Look, Eric Young. Did we see him on TV the second run? Not once.
I don't think he was ever signed.
Yeah, we agree that he was probably never signed. He's probably down at the Performance Center helping out, but he was never signed as an actual WWE wrestler.
Right. They never announced his release, which means he was never on a contract. They
I
probably
don't
never
know,
announced
man.
it.
I don't know
I
what
don't
to
remember
think. I
him-
don't know what to think.
I don't remember them ever saying that he was signed to WWE. He left.
Yeah, there was.
no.
reports of him
He said WWE never said it. Lots of
not
reporters-
WWE. No, not the actual WWE.
That's what
right.
John is talking about.
Yeah.
Right, right. But the sheets were reporting that. Though.
I understand, but when WWE releases a wrestler, they always issue a statement, always without fail.
And when they sign a wrestler, they usually make some kind of statement.
After they debut, they confirm.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but still, that's the whole point. Is none of that was done with Eric Young. I mean,
we have had a quarterly report since then, and Carlito was not listed as someone who was on payroll.
So
Right.
why would he lie though at his last indie
He
event?
didn't lie. In fact, he
kind
was
of
good.
did.
In fact, the week after,
He led
made
people on.
He made a statement publicly. He said, "If Tony Khan wants me in AEW, it's got to be a 6-figure contract." Nobody signed
I
by
heard him say that. I
WWE
heard
would
him
ever
say
say that publicly.
right.
Right.
He was
Yeah, that's
hitting
true.
one. He was trying to make money.
Right.
That's the whole bit. You know, he's
He was trying
Has
to
he-
work it into a shoot.
Yeah. Hey,
Oh,
the
that's
WWE
dumb.
is really, really interested in me right now. I'm just putting it out there. The WWE have approached me about signing on. So Tony, I mean, listen, if you better get on it. You better offer me something, Tony.
yeah.
We may have entered into a deal.
I don't know. That's pretty disappointing, man. I would
And-
love to see Carlito back in WWE, but that's
Is
just
it
me.
really? I mean, is it really disappointing that they didn't sign a 46-year-old?
I know what you're saying, but let's be real. Most of the top guys right now are either pushing 40 or are 40 plus.
Yeah, but that's because they've been top guys for the last 15 years. Carlito is a nostalgic memory that's good for a pop once a year.
Especially in
I
a country
like
like Puerto
Carlito.
Rico, where he's from.
Of
Right.
course, but you're telling me he wouldn't get a pop in the States or anywhere else for that matter?
Once.
For a couple weeks.
I don't know. We'll see.
There's nothing for him to do.
Yeah, we'll
Has
see
he
when
been
he
doing
doesn't show
indies
up.
lately? Has he been doing indies again, though?
Yes, he does indies. But, I mean, WWE needs to focus on getting some 27 and 28 year olds.
That's true, they do.
Not some 47 and 48 year olds.
No, you're
Right.
right. That's 100%.
And not
that's
37
true.
and 38 year olds. They got
No,
plenty
that's the
of
same
good,
as 40
you
to
know,
me. Like,
35 to 40 year olds. They're all set on that.
yeah. No, you're right. They really do need to get some young talent coming up because I've never seen an older roster in professional wrestling, all across the board for that matter, ever in the history of wrestling until
Well, maybe Impact
nowadays.
right now, but
Well, no, I mean over the years though. When you think about it, this has got to be the oldest roster in the history of wrestling.
and
in many ways.
you can't fill that on WWE main roster in America with a bunch
Right.
of British guys who are under 5'10".
Yeah, they got an obsession with that. What's up with that? Why?
That seems
that's
to be
just-
like
that's
the
what came out of
majority
it.
of NXT. Like
Mhm.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
That,
At least the
that's-
Aussie people they've been getting are pretty fucking big generally.
Name one.
Well, Bronson Reed's a big guy. I mean, you can say what you want about Aussie Open, but they're two big guys height wise. One of them's
Rhea Ripley.
wide as well. Rhea Ripley's a big chick, yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Rhea Ripley for sure. Buddy Matthews. All right. I said name
Even
one.
even Grayson Waller is pretty tall. He's
He's
6'4".
tall, but he ain't big.
No, he's not big, but he's tall. He can build on that size though. Eventually,
But he won't.
he probably won't. You're right.
No, he's not. So
But it was
we have,
Waller actually. Jeez.
So we have this match where Austin Theory goes against Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio goes over. And look, I don't know. Like at this point, did Rey need the belt? Does Rey need the belt?
No, done nothing for him.
It does
And that
nothing
pop
for
that
him.
you heard was a pop of shock. Even I was shocked.
Yeah, because I mean, the way it came across, it was like 1, 2.
Yeah, I
and
was
I
like,
thought
what?
he kicked out at 3.
Yeah.
It was going to be one of those like real quick moments, but when you watch back and replay, they go 1, 2, 3. But it was so quick that man, I was just surprised. And what would it have hurt to keep it on Theory?
Listen,
Why
you
did we
only
need
need Ray to have the belt if you have a heel that's ready to take a mid-card championship, and I don't see
That's
one
why I
on there.
mentioned Carlito. That's the
Right.
whole reason why I brought that up.
Well, he wouldn't come in as a heel; he'd come in as a face. But anyway,
Yeah.
I mean, so it either means that Santos and that group is going to turn on him.
Right.
It doesn't look like it
Yes.
because they're busy hugging and putting their heads together and
For now.
crying together and all that for now. Or are they seeing? You have Santos injured, so you have Ray only with the 2 minis on his side. Does that mean they see Bobby Lashley as the U.S. champion with the Street Profits?
No,
Bobby Lashley
that's
is
a waste of time.
right. He should be a top guard. So I don't
Right.
know. So my answer is I don't know the purpose of it because the other guy would have been carrying across had he won his match against AJ instead.
Right.
So I don't know what the purpose is. But you know what? If it was Carlito came back and turned on him as a heel and won the belt, that'd be fine. If he was a heel, that'd be okay as a transition. But then you need a face. Well, you got one. You have LA Knight. At least that makes sense.
Mhm. Yeah. I
Right,
agree.
right.
I agree.
Well, could it be LA Knight, actually, as a matter of fact?
Could be. He's
But-
right in between it, but you can't beat Rey Mysterio. He's already beaten him
Yeah.
twice. You can't have him beat
True.
Rey Mysterio. I mean, if you're trying
That's such
to
a
make him
weird
into a
booking
tweener, but a hidden face because the crowd likes him, you can't have him beat Rey Mysterio.
Well, him
you
and me
should.
is... That's the thing. What's going on with LA Knight? Is he a Raw guy? Is he a free agent? Is he SmackDown? Like, he's
He's
everywhere.
a SmackDown. He's a SmackDown guy who was in the neighborhood, and they wanted to
Okay.
test him in a shoot promo live with the Miz. That's what they wanted.
Really? That's what the word was?
There's no word. I can see it and know what it is. We've seen it before.
Well, yeah, it was a work shoot. That was definitely a total work shoot. I mean, they said a lot of truths in that promo, but it
And you
was
know
great.
what?
I love the passion
I
from
think
both
the Miz
guys.
came out on top, but LA Knight didn't embarrass
Absolutely, he
himself.
did. He fucking did, Jeff. As a matter of fact, the crowd, from booing the Miz out of the building to he earned the respect of the crowd, they started cheering him. And
Yeah,
even
but
LA
this
Knight was a
wasn't
bit
John
like, what the
Cena
fuck?
destroying Austin Theory. It was
It was-
55, 45, 60, 40. It wasn't 98 to 2.
No.
Yeah.
But put it this way, he put his respect on his name, the Miz. I kid you not. That's how good that promo was. I was that impressed.
He's
Well,
done
he
that a
has-
couple of times. Has the Miz? He's
Yeah.
But he
you know,
literally turned everybody that's an LA Knight person to Miz chance, dude. I mean,
Chris, can you continue to speak like Yoda?
what?
Can you continue to speak like Yoda when you do? He's done that a couple times. Has the Miz?
Continue to speak like that. I can, Jeff.
oh, can you talk like this, Chris?
No, you must talk like this, yes. To do the proper voice. Yeah.
No, John. I can't
so-
do TK.
So the point is that I mean, this leaves us in booking hell. I really feel like
It does. It
going
really
forward.
does. I have
And
no idea what
does nothing
direction.
to advance the story. And so to advance where we're at, would leads us to the end of the show, which is the Bloodline segment. Yay! Look, this wasn't great. The only thing I liked was the end of the show where Jimmy turns to the camera and says, "I'm out of the Bloodline.
Oh, yeah.
I'm out of whatever else, and I'm out of WWE. Deuces." You know.
No. You know what else was great too? When Jimmy was running down, like all hands, like smiling. Yeah, brother, my oos, I'm gonna hug you, and then boom, straight in the face. That was
Yeah,
a great moment.
From that point
Loved it.
forward, it was great. You know, kicking him in the face. I'm out of the Bloodline. I'm out of family. I'm out of WWE. Deuces. And then gets him
Yeah.
out of the crowd. As you know, one would if they're quitting their job. You know, if they're just like.
You see,
"Fuck
this
this
is
place,
dumb.
I'm
So
done
they're
with
gonna
this."
cool him off. Is this the
Fuck
plan?
you.
So we're gonna,
Fuck you. Fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you. I'm out.
Yeah. You
but
know.
where's this? What's the end game here, man? Like, what are we getting at over here?
Well, you're supposed to tune in next week to find
To
out
find
a
out.
little bit more, and then tune in the next
But
week
he
to find
quit.
out a little bit more.
But here's the thing.
What's-
And
How many wrestlers have quit and really?
No,
quit?
I know. I'm talking kayfabe, Jeff. Come on.
I
man.
understand. That's why you tune in to find out.
I know, but the thing is, so you're gonna change your mind come next week? Oh no, I'm back. It's all good. Like,
No, he did this before. He wore the hoodie and jumped out of the stands. This is the second time Jey Uso is doing. Do I think this was good? No. Do I think it's better than Jimmy said, I did it because you didn't call me when I was hurt and all you thought about was being main event.
That was
James.
a dumb reason, bro. Yeah.
That was a terrible reason. He used a slightly better one. That I did because I love you, because I was afraid that we were going to stop being you were going to be a tribal chief and we would lose our tag team. Okay.
And you were going to be I don't want
and
you
because
to be the
you were going to
asshole
turn into a terrible person. Yeah, no,
Like,
I could dig it. I
Yeah.
could dig it.
Yeah, I didn't want you to become that asshole Roman Reigns, and then the asshole, and then the so Canadian way they said it, asshole, asshole.
My preferred story, which I've enumerated on other shows, would have been that while Jimmy was convalescing, the elders came to him and they said, we gave you guys a test, and Jay failed the test, and so far it looks like you're failing the test. We never suggested tribal combat. Jimmy was supposed to say no, or Jay was supposed to say no. The tribal chief is not to be questioned. We anoint him tribal chief. He's the choice. His will is law, and you screwed up, and that's why he betrayed Jay, and he should have rejoined the bloodline. That'd be more interesting. This to me is a bit of a clusterfuck, but it's better. At least it's a story and it's continuing. Do I think it's great? No. Do I think it's terrible? It could have been much worse. It could have been better. And I saw a rumor that Rikishi is rejoining the WWE, which fine.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's about time they started using the elders more in this storyline, and
Well,
maybe
we're waiting, right?
right, and maybe the other. I mean, I'm told with this is not exaggerated. Like 5 years ago, I was told that in the San Francisco area that there are literally 28 Samoan wrestlers working for the Indies, all related to this family.
Shit.
And why couldn't they just bring these guys in as extras? I mean, they have security, all that. So, and to do something, and maybe they will, but they're not showing me that they're that clever.
Right.
But so I'm still holding on for Thanksgiving because that's the time for family and that's the time for my cinematic experience. But listen, was this great? No. Did it deserve an entire half-hour segment? No, it did not. Is it better than nothing? Yeah. Is it better than Brock gave no reason whatsoever? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I just I'm worried now. I must admit, I think the wheels are slowly starting to fall off on the Bloodline story if they're not careful. That's the problem. I mean, Chris, what do you think, man?
I think you guys are a bunch of assholes, eh?
True.
That was very Canadian, actually. Assholes.
Assholes. Don't be such assholes, eh? You know what? I don't know, man. Maybe it's just me. I'm starting to lose a little bit of steam with this bloodline stuff.
Right, me too.
It seems like it's starting to become a little circular, where like I'm losing faith that they actually have like a good plan for what comes next. But they've earned the right to have a couple of missteps
That's
here and
true.
there. So I'm gonna keep paying attention and I'm not gonna judge it based off of 1 week and how I felt during this 1 week. So we'll see.
Because I think if we're honest, there have been times where we've had a week where like, what the fuck are they doing? And then the next week, it's like,
they hit out the park, right?
All right, it's like they've been flying this plane for a while. They've had some, the plane's going down. It looks like, oh shit, and they pull it back out. I think right now we're looking at where are they landing, at what point are they landing, and when is it that they're going to land this plane, and how are they going to land it? I think that's the biggest issue that we're kind of dealing with right now, because it's been, almost 3 years that we're dealing with this, and
over 3 years, man.
And I mean, I'm not saying I don't love long-term storytelling. I like long-term storytelling. This has been
You can't
great.
complain. This is what you wanted. This is what you've got. You know what I mean?
But at the same time, too, when you have long-term storytelling, guess what? You can have breaks in your long-term storytelling.
Right,
And come back to it. And so the problem is like this has been continual for 3 years. And at what point are we landing the plane? And can we come back to it later down the road and do it as well? I think that's more of where we're at with this. And I'm at the point where I'm not at an exhaustion yet with the storyline, but I'm kind of like, I need to kind of know where, because like Chris said, it's like we're circling the airport.
Right, where are we going right now? Right.
You've never been on a flight.
This is not the first time that we've had the same exact conversation. They brought us in.
But this is more like,
I don't think it's more. I think it's exactly the same. Maybe even listen. This is a little better than it's been worse. It's not great, but they left. It's wrestling. They left you with the cliffhanger. That's basically what they're supposed to do. Season 3 of Yellowstone was much worse than season 4.
Wow.
Yeah,
Shit.
yeah. I mean, hey, that happens sometimes, right?
Yeah.
You can sort of see that a show has been renewed for like an extra season that the producers weren't originally investing in. So they've got 3 seasons worth of fucking epic to tell, but now they've got a fourth season that they weren't. They didn't think they were going to have. So they've taken the last season and they've put it towards season 4 now. And now we're in season 3 and they just don't have the same ideas. And it feels like
Right.
they're kind of circling around each other, waiting for season 4 to start now. That's basically
Yeah.
what it feels like with the Bloodline right now.
And you're
for
probably
me, at
right,
least.
Chris.
It's
For me, at
not
least,
that's what
that
it
feels
Bullet
like.
Club is fine part 11 yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cool with that too. I'd be cool with that, right? But the thing is, I think Chris is right. He hit the nail on the head. I think they weren't planning for like a season 4, hypothetically, right?
Yeah.
And I think because of the popularity with the fan base and whatnot, they felt forced and inclined to actually keep going. And they've just sort of gotten lost on the way down that path. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. But they didn't have to do it the way they did it. Like, quitting is dumb to me. It's been done a million times.
Well, and I feel like from a storytelling perspective, like the right thing to happen here, like from a storytelling
Third inning.
perspective,
Right.
is for Jay to win the title from Roman. That is the best
Is it?
story. But Jay's not a star. Jay is a really, really good wrestler. Don't get me wrong. He's in one of, if not the best, tag team in the world right now. But he's not a singles star. He just isn't that. It's like Demolition were a really great tag team. Neither one of those guys were going to be
Mr.
world
Wrestling,
champion.
though.
So
Animal.
yeah, Hawk and
Right.
Animal, same thing.
Yeah.
Great tag team. I mean, huge stars. You can't say that they weren't stars in wrestling,
They were main
but they
event tag
weren't-
team, dude. Legit.
but they weren't main event singles guys.
They
Right.
would use them as a threat for singles guys with
They
no
would,
intention of
they
ever
would.
winning the title.
So,
Right, right.
For some reason, it feels
Especially
like they
Hawk.
started this. They started this really brilliant They started with this really brilliant idea. Oh, we'll do the bloodline, and then but they didn't really have an ending figured out yet. Because if they had an ending, they would have the guy in the bloodline right now who eventually is going to become the new face of it or whatever, or who's eventually going to be the guy to finish it. And that's one of the reasons why I really got invested in the idea of Sami Zayn winning. I know a lot of
I
people
felt
think,
like that was the end
you're
game
Canadian,
right there.
you're Canadian, and
No.
Kirkus is Canadian. No.
I agree with you.
I actually felt like it would work from a storytelling perspective because he was the outsider who came in, and that would make sense why the outsider eventually breaks up the group and
Right,
everything,
not the
right?
family. Right.
But also, I did at least at the time feel like Sammy could go on a short run, not anything major, but
Like a Kane run?
Mick Foley run. A Mick
Alright,
Foley
yeah,
run where
that's
he's
fair,
the champion
that's
for
fair.
3 months and then he loses the belt again because he was never really, we just gave it to him because we thought it would be cool to see him with the belt or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That would be fine, but it's like, I don't know. I don't
He's
see it
bummed
from
out
any of
about
these
that.
other guys. I don't see it from Solo either. I don't see the star power there. So I'm not really sure where they go with it. But at least after Sammy didn't win, I knew, like, and I said it after Sammy won, and everybody was like, "Oh, Cody's going to beat him at Mania." I was like, "There's no fucking way Cody beats him at
No.
Mania." Right?
They booked themselves into a wall during that time for sure.
I knew that they weren't going to give it to Cody, but at the time I was looking at the bloodline and going, okay, they could get back to Jay. They could come back to Jay, and that could be the next step here.
Was it too
They
soon?
did that. They
Right.
did that, and now it seems like the Jay thing is kind of done, at least for a while. Where do
Right.
they go next? I don't know.
They're gonna
There's
cool him
nothing
off
that-
till the Rumble or some shit. It feels like.
Fine, that would be fine with me. I'm not.
But then
I'm not
what?
against that. Well, that's just it. Then what? And also, what between now and then?
And then
Well, there's
And
an
then-
endless supply of characters that they could add in this, and it doesn't even have to. And while I would prefer it be the youth, you have Rikishi, the dad. You can have Alpha and Sika saying things. There's an endless supply, like a real soap opera. You can always bring in new characters, and they've got plenty of them. Whether or not they can perform on WWE TV or not, I'm not sure. But if they just act or whatever, so I'm all right. And by the way, maybe Jimmy's injury was real. I mean, he hasn't been doing a whole lot, just a couple thrust kicks. And maybe Roman does have an injury, so maybe they do need to slow things down. Maybe it's a reason to keep Jimmy off of TV and anything
Maybe
other
he's
than
going to impact wrestling with his wife.
No.
Yeah.
Um,
No,
I'm joking,
but I
I'm
mean,
joking.
what do we think about Heyman said at the SummerSlam press conference that they're in the third inning of this story, and
What's
we've
That's
been
bad.
3 years.
Hey, he's
Yeah.
just
He's full of
working.
shit.
He's just working.
Right.
It's. I think the same of that is when he said when they asked him about Bobby Heenan, he said, "Screw him, he's dead." He's working. He's in. He's in
Oh,
a
that
work
was definitely
setting.
him working, right?
Yes, this is just some work. Of course, he's going to say this is the story that has no end. Where we just scratched the surface.
It's
What the hell
professional
else is
wrestling.
he-
It has no end. There's no off season. There's nothing.
They pay him $4 million a year.
Oh, yeah.
He's getting royalties from T-shirts now.
People started
singing and not knowing what it was. Hey. we should
Anyway.
stop now.
Yeah,
We took
because
that
we
to a
don't,
whole
want,
new
we, don't
level.
want this, we don't want this to be the podcast that never ends. But so let's gentlemen, let's give our ratings of this episode of SmackDown. Let's go with last in, first out, Jimmy T. What do you got for the
C
rating
for
of this?
confused.
C for confused? Okay,
That's what I'll give it.
Chris, what do you got?
D plus, I guess. I didn't think that this was a particularly good show, but I did like the opening match with Asuka and Charlotte. I thought it was good, especially in comparison to the other women's matches that I've been told were important this week. I liked LA Knight. There was a few things on here that I liked. The Bloodline storyline wasn't terrible, but it wasn't what I really like out of it. So, yeah,
Okay,
that's what's getting for me.
Dr. Jeff, what do you got?
Okay, I need to make clear I'm not grading this the same way that I grade a PLE because otherwise the numbers would make no sense. So I grade SummerSlam around a C minus D plus, like basically a 70. 7 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10. But that's based on a PLE standard, not a weekly TV show standard. I'm going to give this a C minus. I'm sort of between Jimmy and Chris. There were things I liked, but not much of it. And there was a whole lot of. Listen, folks, I watched this show in under an hour, and I don't think I missed any in-ring action. I don't think I fast forward through any match or any promo. I just fast forward through the filler and entrances, and I mean that's too much filler. And then out of what happened, I think the show started good. I think the end, we just talked about it. So yeah, what did I say? C minus. Yeah, let's stick with C minus. Jimmy's right though. Confused, but a few things that I thought were really dumb. I'm more upset about Karrion Kross losing where he should have won and Ray winning where it makes no sense than I am about the Uso thing. While I'm not thrilled about that, it's exactly okay.
Before we go, could it be possible there's some sort of power struggle again between Triple H? As we know, he's not going to be part of the board anymore, right? And Vince McMahon, like with the booking, because it feels like a real mess right now.
Well,
Well,
first,
whenever you ask, is
motherfucker.
it possible? The answer is always yes.
Well, the
course,
first motherfucker,
right, but-
I'm going to give my rating, and then you can ask your goddamn question. This is my show. This is
Sorry,
my show.
sorry, John. It is your show. That's true. I'm sorry.
Nah,
boss.
Yeah.
I'm getting on my knees now. Nah.
Look, that's about right, bitch.
I heard your Cheetos crackling.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, or no Doritos, sir.
Your Doritos underwear.
Oh, thanks for reminding me. I'm gonna buy him if I see him. I'm not gonna wear him. I just want to
look,
show you.
Look, I'm
mean
gonna
you're gonna shop
go. He's gonna shop with
Wow, maybe.
He's a dirty Australian.
5-finger discount, baby.
I'm gonna go with a straight D on this show
For dicks or Doritos?
for dumb
Yeah.
because honestly, there was a lot on this show that just I just could not wrap my brain around or enjoy or like. Even I found myself not paying it. I watched it live and I'm like kept going, shit, I can't fast forward. Shit, I can't fast forward because there was nothing entertaining, or there were few and far moments in between that were entertaining, and it just made for a not fun night of watching television. I kept going, what time is it? When is this over? Watching this show. It just did nothing for me this week, and I felt like, if anything, we just kind of went in circles, and we were more confused after SummerSlam than having a clear direction for an event that's supposed to be a tentpole, one of your 4 big events for the year, and you're supposed to have a clear direction. I really feel like there's no clear direction moving forward, and I'm more
It's
confused
weird,
than anything
dude.
else. So
It's straight up weird. I don't know what's going on suddenly. It's just all of a sudden too.
I don't either. So this is straight D. So unlike my girlfriend, who I'll give the straight D. Hey. All right. So Jimmy, I like to answer your question. I don't think so because here's the thing. One, we already know Vince has been investigated again.
Right.
I
I
think
hope something comes out of that because now they're speeding up the sale, like for the takeover to happen in
they're
September.
not speeding it up. No,
September they said now.
Well, no, that's when it was always going to be. It was going to said.
Was it? I heard the end of the year.
No, the back half of 2023 is what they said, and so that can be September
Anything,
to
right.
December. So and I mean everything I've read is the sale is on time. Like they're not having moved anything forward or anything like that. But the fact that Vince is in trouble right now.
I mean, so.
The fact that they're having to come back and investigate again for grand jury trial stuff and all this whatever information. There's no real power struggle at this point. I think Triple H is in control. I think it's just a matter now of, okay, well, what do I do? How do I keep this going forward? And it felt like, to me, this show, SmackDown, was the afterthought. Like there was a lot put into Raw, maybe. I don't know. I didn't see Raw. I saw some clips of Raw and some things going on. And I was like, okay, there's some interesting things here. But this show was the aftermath of going, oh, yeah, shit. Like the Austin Theory, Santos Escobar thing, right? We have been knowing about it for a couple of weeks, but it felt like, oh, shit, yeah, we have this tonight. Like it was tonight that we're doing this because there was at one point they were talking about it and they said, oh, yeah, and that's tonight. As
it was WrestleMania 9 all over again on SmackDown.
It was very confusing. It was all over the place, and there was not a clear direction. So I think it's just more of, a lack of focus, to be honest, Jimmy, than anything else. I don't think it's a power struggle per se. I think it was just more a lack of focus and coming off a week of, you had a PLE, which was supposed to have clear direction, and it really, if anything, it was just kind of meh. And then now you're trying to struggle to go, okay, I'm not getting the response from that PLE that everybody, was expecting. So now I've got to try to do that, and you just did some very confusing things to try to fix it.
But again, like we said earlier, they can have, bad nights, right? And SummerSlam was truly the first PLE of the year that didn't live up to every other PLE that WWE have produced so far this year. Let's be real. I mean, every PLE this year for WWE other than SummerSlam was a hit right out of the park, man. In my opinion, I've enjoyed every single PLE other than SummerSlam.
I agree. I think it was the worst. I think it was the worst PLE going back to perhaps before last year's SummerSlam. I don't remember that far.
Last year's was much better, I think, than this year's.
I know, but I've been enjoying also. But I don't know why we're talking about the PLEs when we're talking about SmackDown. I just thought the SmackDown. I'm not sure that they lack direction. I think they know what the direction is. The direction is they're going to have Charlotte and Asuka against Damage Control for a while. They're going to continue with the drama of the bloodline. Where's Jimmy at now? What's going on with Jay, if at all? Where's Solo's head? They continue that, and I guess that they figured that they wanted to have a sentimental baby face have a title, so they and the U.S. title. I think it's clear it's not on PLEs. It's the TV title now. So, I mean, if you want clarity, there it is.
The TV title.
LA Knight's continuing to ascend. I mean, there's clarity. They gave you a main event for next week. It's just unimpressive. It's just uninspired. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's, I guess, the question now there also becomes too: do we put high expectations on WWE because they are the number one wrestling company in the world? And what we see on TV compared to AEW.
If it was 10 years ago, we wouldn't. But now, yeah, like Chris said.
No, I think yes, period.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I think that's everything.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
Yeah.
It's like we should hold them to a higher standard.
Right, I agree. But I mean, at the same time, too, at what?
I'm delayed.
No, you're fine. What standard should that be? Like, do we rate on a curve compared to AEW? I mean, well,
AEW is truly the pathetic right now, other than Collision.
What's realistic? I guess is my question.
I don't grade on a curve. I grade NXT on a curve. and I grade PLEs and pay-per-views differently than weekly shows. But I don't grade AEW and WWE any differently. I haven't seen much from WWE to show that they are much better at doing this than AEW. They're just sticking to what they've always done, which is more organized and more formatted and more ready for TV, exactly. More ready for prime time. AEW is a little bit more improv, like seeing Second City. AEW just focuses on things I don't really care about, but WWE proved to us last night that they can do just as stupid a shit as AEW. I don't expect much from wrestling, period. So,
and that's the sad part. I don't want to feel that way, though, Jeff.
Well, I guess we brought the negativity that guy complained about. But if you think that we only are hard on AEW, which is my suspicion, well, you just found out that, well, you're wrong.
Yeah.
We are the armchair experts. I mean, none of us are actually in the business.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I'm on the couch, podcasting.
Yeah. And I'm on an armchair. An office chair.
I'm in an office chair. So
yeah. Does that make us the officers? No.
Dude,
that's pretty dumb.
Yes. And I listened to the going back to listening shows this week because I just had time to kill. And man, have I heard your so many fucking times this week that it drove me up the
this
wall.
Week?
Listening to you on different other podcasts.
You know what? I've actually calmed down on it compared to a while ago. I was way worse, believe me.
Damn, because I guess I haven't really been listening to it, but this week it was very prevalent when I listened to the various shows where you.
I gotta listen back to that. You know what, dude? I'm not gonna lie, right? It's sort of starting to get normal, and it's pissing me off. If that makes any sense, it's hard, dude. Once I started doing that shit, now I blame you, Seth. Prick, nah, no, really, because it's hard to sort of stop doing it. But I'm over it at this point.
You know what's hard to stop? This show.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, let's take it home, boys. Let's go. Yeah.
What do you mean? I've been trying to wrap it up, and you keep bringing shit up. Anyway.
Well, I unwrapped it.
Yeah, I know you did. No shit.
Shut the fuck up, Jimmy.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Jimmy, tell all people where to find you if you're the first one out.
All right, fine.
Mute your shit.
Since I got to go, the comments. Anyway, since I got to go and I'm getting kicked out, you can find me in the corner, where I will be facing the corner in detention. No, but really, pwcnetwork.popping.com, channelattitude.com, hamidmediagroup.popping.com, and on Twitter at DJ MassFX and at the PWC Network, and that's a wrap.
Okay, good. All right, Chris, where can the people find you on the internets?
Well, you can find me on Twitter. I'm at ChrisAms1. You can go there to hear everything I have to say about pro wrestling, politics, whatever the hell else comes to my mind. You can also hear me right here on the HMG and channelattitude.com, specifically tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning, after the collision, you, me, Jeff, and Jimmy, and also, hey, maybe John, if he wants to join us tomorrow, we'll sift through the wreckage. We will do that at 10 o'clock. Central Standard Time in the morning, Sundays. That is when we do the show. Tune in, especially if you're really, really looking for good, positive pro wrestling and just happy and everything's good and wrestling is fantastic kind of stuff. That's where you will hear us talk like that. Except Jimmy, who's very angry right now because people are not happy with Jimmy because he's been muted. Thank Christ. I
have the power.
Good stuff. All right, I'm getting out of here, guys. Peace out.
All right, later, Chris. Peace.
Get off my laptop.
Look, there. We fixed him too. Dr. Jeff, where can the people find you this week?
Twitter, @ChrisFell, MD. On the PWC and HMG, as the fellas have already said. Additionally, my wrestling show, Hammerlock Hangover, did a solo show this week. It came out 5 days or 6 days late, so yay. But it's on the PWC as well. And then Garden of Doom and Garden Views. I just dropped a Garden of Doom today with John Barnwell. If you don't know him, he managed the largest occult bookstore in the world, and he's a font of information. Yep, there it is. The Arcane Wisdom and the Noble Traveler. So we talk about Grail Angels and Hermeticism and Rosicrucians and the Templars and the Sangreal and just about anything that you want to think about. He's going to be on again, so that's pretty cool. Garden Views is more topical legal business, but still me and still in our own interesting little way. This week we had a guy had his idea for a citizens Congress. We had a political conversation. I don't really love getting into politics, but yet I did. So anyway, those shows are both on the PWC and the Hameen Media Group. So if you want to find me, really, it's hard not to.
Right. And look, again, if you really want to listen to one of the more interesting podcasts out there, go to listen to Garden Views and Garden Doom. They're really great. I enjoy them. Whenever there's a new one, I try to listen as soon as possible. So I appreciate you putting that out there. It's a really great show. I've enjoyed it a lot. So.
I appreciate it. It's that kind of feedback that keeps me going because it's not easy. Oh, I was on Andrew Carlick's show, False Count Radio, this week as well. For those who either don't know him or if it sounds vaguely familiar, he was one of the originals on Wrestling Soup. So that was fun to do a show, and apparently I'm going to be in one of his rotating co-host situations, which I guess means every 5 or 6 weeks. So there's yet another place to find me.
Hey, very cool. Well, you can find me here every week on Saturdays at 10 a.m. on the Stone Cold Hameen Media Group channel, doing the Smack Attack for you, for the people, by the people, for the people. And we do that every week on Saturdays at 10 a.m. And we appreciate everybody in the chat who's here. You can also find me sometime eventually whenever I hear from Triple D at some point, and I don't know when that'll be. But and we'll do the Academy, and I'm sure we'll talk Strange New Worlds as it's wrapping up. It just dropped the last episode of season 2. I haven't seen it yet. It's supposed to be really great. And we have lots of other things to discuss Star Trek and wise, as in a lot of things have been said about Paramount Plus, which makes you wonder where Star Trek will end up, because it doesn't sound super great. So we can find me that way as well. You can also find me on the internet at TikTok, Instagram, Twitter as JReezyMen. And you can find me on Facebook, John Enright. And try to find me. And if you do, I'll be your friend. Why not? You can also contact the show. I realize I didn't do that at all this week, but you can also join it. You can email the show or tweet us at SmackAttackHMG or email smackattack@hameenmedia@gmail.com, and you can be a part of the show that way. But of course, just be live. Just be live and show your comments here in the way that we need to. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, that's concludes our show for today. Last night, we definitely got slammed real bad. There was no Summer Lovin'. It was all Glovin' last night from SmackDown. But the question will be, next week, will Jimmy be in the unemployment line, or will he be back, cause havoc, and be Jimmy Havoc from this point forward? Who knows?
I think you mean Jay.
Jay, yeah, that's right. I don't understand.
Jimmy Havoc, don't mention that name, please.
Yeah.
Is Joshua Fatu all elite?
Maybe.
Is Juicy Fatu all elite?
Ooh,
Juicy Fatu is gross.
Do we have lots of Fatu? Who knew?
I don't give a Fatu.
I don't give a Fatu either. So let's go ahead and figure out that next week and tune in, be a part of the show, and have some good summer gloving as you go about your day. And
you saw that.
and ladies and gentlemen, have a great week.